From a beautiful Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia, two rivals collide as number 9 Miami tries to keep its college football playoff hopes alive, while Virginia Tech tries to bounce back from a disappointing loss against Liberty. The Hokies and the Hurricanes, it's all on 3304 Sports. Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us alongside Tyler Katz. I'm Evan Hughes. Tyler, it's great to be with you, and we could be in for a treat today. Two prolific offenses in Miami and Virginia Tech set to do battle. Could be a fun one this afternoon.
And two great quarterbacks for Virginia Tech. Hendon Hooker for Miami, D'Eriq King, the transfer out of Houston. Both quarterbacks are dual-threat quarterbacks going through the ground and through the air. And with both teams getting key assets back to their team this week, it could be a fireworks show at Lane Stadium.
Well, Virginia Tech and Miami both getting key pieces back. However, on Saturday morning, both teams finding out they will be without key players that maybe were expected to contribute this week. And we start with Miami. 13 players out that include their left tackle, John Campbell, and Ja'Kai Clark, the Hurricanes' left guard. They are both unavailable today. Hurricanes also down a couple of defensive linemen, and their linebacker, Zach McLeod, someone who's kind of a heart and soul of that linebacker room for Miami, Tyler, he's unavailable to play today. So the Hurricanes are going to get players back, which we'll talk about, but they lose 13 players. They lose two key players on their line, and they don't have Zach McLeod, their middle linebacker. That's a tough loss for Miami.
And for Miami, you talk about their offensive line, and with that dual-threat quarterback in D'Eriq King, all of a sudden you have a weakened left side. So look for him to maybe go to the protection on the right side and watch more so for Virginia Tech to pack that right side, knowing that's where the strongest Miami players are going to be to try and break through even more.
And a lot of the experienced players on the Miami offensive line already on the right side at right tackle and right guard. So you're down John Campbell Jr. at left tackle. He's a redshirt sophomore. Ja'Kai Clark is a sophomore at left guard. So for Virginia Tech, who has struggled the last 2 weeks in terms of containing mobile cornerbacks, you go to Malik Cunningham at Louisville 2 weeks ago, and then you look at Malik Willis last week for Liberty. They really ran the ball well. Opportunity for the defensive line to maybe apply a little bit extra pressure against a weakened offensive line for Miami and try and maybe get after D'Eriq King today.
Yeah, Virginia Tech fans have seen it in weeks past. They have struggled with dual-threat quarterbacks Malik Cunningham and
Malik Willis,
or Cunningham for Louisville and Willis for Liberty in back-to-back weeks, giving up 35 points in at least 35 points in each game, 35 to Louisville and 38 to Liberty last week. So Virginia Tech cannot afford to give up 35-plus points to a top 10 team in the country, especially with a defense of their caliber.
Well, you mentioned that Miami will get some players back today, and Brevin Jordan highlights one of the best tight ends in the ACC. He is back, the junior from Las Vegas, Nevada. He's missed his last 3 games. Last week, he was healthy and was expected to play, did not, and the come-from-behind thrilling win against North Carolina State for Miami. Tyler, he has 3 receiving touchdowns on the year. He's an NFL draft prospect, big physical tight end, someone who can hurt you in the red zone. For D'Eriq King, who's been relied upon to really be a dual-threat quarterback over the last couple of weeks, he gets a very, very big target back there in Brevin Jordan, his tight end.
And with the offensive line diminished, as we mentioned earlier, D'Eriq King might be looking to go through the air a little bit more, catch Virginia Tech off guard from what they're used to seeing in the scouting reports with Miami. Brevin Jordan averages just under 14 yards per catch. He was expected to play against NC State. We saw what happened there in Raleigh, where Miami got a win without their key tight end.
Virginia Tech has faced a couple of really good tight ends this year, but Brevin Jordan might be the best. A lot of really sound tight ends in the ACC, and again, he is an NFL draft prospect. It is confirmed, again, that Brevin Jordan will play today for Miami. Players like Michael Harley and Mark Pope, their top 2 receivers, have really stepped up, but King gets another asset back in the passing game. All right, so Virginia Tech also with players out today. They have 10 players who are unavailable. That includes Jermaine Waller, their top cornerback, who has battled injury all season. Tywan Garbett, Emmanuel Belmar is going to miss his third game in a row. That'll hurt the Hokies defensive line. And Evan Fairs, the receiver, a transfer from Kansas, unavailable to play today. But Tyler, there's no question, Jermaine Waller headlines that list. He is the Hokies' top cornerback, and they're going to have to rely on some younger players today with no Waller.
Well, earlier in the season, we saw a lot more of Virginia Tech's defense, especially cornerbacks and safeties, missing. You take a look back at the games that were canceled at the beginning of the season. The game versus North Carolina, another top 10 team at the time that Virginia Tech had to play. So Virginia Tech is no use to playing, or is used to playing without the use of their pass defense. And especially with a dual-threat quarterback such as De'Aaron King, you have to hope that he tries to scramble when your cornerbacks are depleted. And especially with Emmanuel Belmar missing his third game in a row on that defensive line, the question isn't really how Virginia Tech is going to put points on the scoreboard and whether or not Khalil Herbert's going to play, but whether or not they can stop the Miami Hurricanes offense.
Now, Virginia Tech has a couple of key players that are active today. That'll make Hokie fans very happy. Khalil Herbert, who returned the opening kickoff last week, injured his hamstring and then did not return to the Hokies' 38-35 loss to Liberty. He is active today. Middle linebacker Rayshard Ashby, who exited the game last week against Liberty, he is active today. And tight end James Mitchell, who has the most receiving touchdowns on this Hokie squad, he is active today after not playing last week. The question, though, is, Tyler, while all three are active, how much are they going to be able to contribute today? That is the question, as all three are returning off of injuries.
And I think what we're going to see is at the beginning of the game, we might see them more or we might see them less depending on how head coach Justin Fuente wants to use them. But I think it's more going to be a dynamic shift in how much each of these players are used. If Virginia Tech finds themselves down on the scoreboard, I think we're going to see a lot more of Khalil Herbert in the game. But I think especially with the caliber that Khalil Herbert has been playing this year, at the beginning of the season, his teammates started a Heisman campaign for him. So he is a huge asset for the Virginia Tech offense, for the Virginia Tech running game. So if Virginia Tech finds themselves down on the scoreboard, I think they'll use him more, but I don't think that's an asset that you want to drain, especially coming off an injury just last week.
Now, Virginia Tech has shown they are a run-first offense this year. Khalil Herbert going into last week was averaging nearly 150 rushing yards per game. You could tell the Hokies certainly missed him last week. Well, both teams have been without key players all year, and both quarterbacks have continued to impress. De'Aaron King of Miami, Hendon Hooker of Virginia Tech, both mobile quarterbacks, both have been getting it done through the air and on the ground. And it's been really impressive to see, for Hendon Hooker, 39 combined carries over the last two games. He's really taken kind of the workload from Herbert when he hasn't been available to play. He's kind of taken his workload. He's been getting the job done on the ground. Meanwhile, De'Aaron King, we've seen Miami and first-year offense coordinator Rhett Lashley use him with a lot more designed runs. Let's start with De'Aaron King. Transfer from Houston. He's elevated this Miami offense. Huge reason why they're ranked 9th in the country right now. Last week against North Carolina State, Tyler, over 500 combined yards and 5 touchdowns for De'Aaron King.
Yeah, it was a absolutely monster game for De'Aaron King. But Lashley, in preparing for this game, said to the media that he doesn't want the Miami running game to go through De'Aaron King. And of course, he had 5 passing touchdowns last week against NC State. None of those through the ground, which really shows Miami's depth, that they're able to throw the ball just as well as they're able to run the ball with De'Aaron King. The transfer out of Houston, which didn't come as too much of a surprise from the decision made by the Cougars early in the season on what to do with De'Aaron King, but he has 82 rushing attempts on the season, one more than their starting running back in Cameron Harris. So that really shows that the running game and the passing game go through De'Aaron King for the Canes.
Meanwhile, for Virginia Tech and Hendon Hooker, he has been a highlight this year for the Hokies. He is the returning starting quarterback. He made his first career start last year against Miami. We'll get to that in just a moment. But you look at his numbers on the ground, 82 attempts, 515 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 39 combined carries against Liberty and Louisville the last 2 games. Offensive coordinator Brad Cornelsen really making a concerted effort to run him a lot in the running game.
Yeah, and they had to rely on him more last week, especially with the loss of Khalil Herbert, who went down on that opening kickoff. But one thing I find interesting, King and Hooker, both dual-threat quarterbacks, both have 82 rushing attempts on the season. Hooker beats out King by about 110 yards on the ground so far this season, by 6 touchdowns on the ground between Hooker and King. So right now, if you just take a look at, let's say the forward pass is magically gone from football, the quarterback battle goes to Hooker on the ground.
Again, both quarterbacks have been huge reasons why both teams have had success on offense this year. All right, we're moments away from kickoff, wrapping things up on the 3304 Sports pregame show. Listen, there's a lot on the line in this game. Miami with just 1 loss on the year. That was to Clemson. Virginia Tech with 2 losses. And the Hokies are in a spot where if they can win out and if they can get help, needing North Carolina to drop another game, there is a narrow path for the Hokies to the ACC championship game. A loss would essentially eliminate them, theoretically, from the race to get to Charlotte in December. Miami also, Tyler, needs a win today to not only keep their hopes alive of getting to the ACC championship game, but listen, they're ranked 9th in the country right now. There's an outside shot that they could maybe make the college football playoff.
Yeah, and it all starts with that help at the top with Clemson and Notre Dame. They need losses from either Clemson or 2 from Notre Dame to make it to the ACC championship in December. And with an ACC championship win, we're talking about a 1-loss Miami team that would have had defeated, right now looking like either Notre Dame or Clemson in the ACC championship. With a win in Charlotte, we're looking at a potential playoff team, Miami Hurricanes.
Justin Fuente, head coach of the Hokies, 14-5 in games after Virginia Tech lost the game the week prior. 14-5 in bounce-back games. The Hokies are trying to win their first game against an AP top 10 team in their last 6 tries. They're 0-6 against their last 6 attempts against AP top 10 teams. Meanwhile, Miami trying to keep their hopes alive for the college football playoff. 2 rivals that go back quite some time. Miami, Virginia Tech. We're thrilled to bring you the call here on 3304 Sports. We're going to step aside for a break, but when we come back from Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia, kickoff between the Hokies and the Hurricanes. You're listening to 3304 Sports. From beautiful Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia, 2 rivals set to do battle. Miami has made the trip to Lane Stadium to take on Virginia Tech. It is so great to have you with us on 3304 Sports alongside Tyler Katz. I'm Evan Hughes. Beautiful day for football. Temperatures will get into the lower 60s today. The sun is shining brightly here down on Lane Stadium. Miami and Virginia Tech set to do battle. The Hurricanes ranked number 9 in the country. They are coming off of a thrilling win against North Carolina State. Their lone loss on the year to Clemson. Meanwhile, Virginia Tech coming off of a disappointing loss to Liberty that went down to the wire last week here inside of Lane Stadium. Again, Evan Hughes alongside of Tyler Katz. And Tyler, we should have a lot of points today. 2 prolific offenses going at it against each other.
2 high-scoring teams. Miami, 44 points against NC State in a winning effort. Virginia Tech, 35 points in a losing effort. So 2 high-scoring teams both getting key pieces back on offense.
We're just moments away from kickoff. Jose Borregales, the kicker for Miami, has the ball teed up. Hokies are set to receive. Borregales races forward, swing of the leg, and we are underway from Lane Stadium. High kick that sails through the end zone for a touchback. So Hendon Hooker will come out to the field first, the redshirt junior from Greensboro, North Carolina. He has been Mr. Do-It-All for Virginia Tech this year. Over 500 yards on the ground. Hendon Hooker with 8 rushing touchdowns. He's also completing 66% of his passes. Hokies in their all-maroon uniforms, Miami in their visiting white uniforms. Hooker comes out with the offense. Hokies have been run heavy often this year. Hooker in the gun. Blackshear to his left. Brings Robinson on motion on 1st and 10. Hands off to Blackshear, and he is met immediately at the line of scrimmage. A host of tacklers in for Miami, including Jalen Phillips, the redshirt junior, one of the best defensive ends in the ACC.
And immediately, Miami's showing the dominance. Loss of 4 on the play.
2 receivers set to the left and right for Hooker. It's 2nd and 14. Blackshear to the left of Hooker in the gun. 4 down linemen for Miami. Hooker takes a snap, fakes the read option, throws a slant over the middle, caught. Robinson catches, spins, and turns upfield across the 30, and he's tackled at the 32-yard line. Robinson with a gain of 12 on 2nd down.
Huge play, a nice pass to the left side, broken tackle by Robinson. Looks like Virginia Tech could be going more through the air.
Hokies go no huddle. They need to get to the 35 to move the chains. Trips to the right for Hooker. Blackshear the back in the gun. 4 down linemen for Miami. Hooker the snap. Looks right. Throws right. Caught. Robinson on a slant. Has a gain of 8. First down, Virginia Tech. They move the chains after the big first down play for Miami defensively.
And after a loss on the run, which Virginia Tech has become known for, 2 positive yard gains through the air.
Hokies near midfield. We'll pause for a moment as there's an injured Hurricane on the field. That's Gilbert Frierson, the redshirt sophomore, who's starting at that striker position. That Blake Baker and that Miami defense, they love that striker spot. There's a Miami team that's missing 13 players coming into today. Missing a lot on the offensive line, also missing a lot on the defensive line. And they do not have Zach McLeod today, their weak line side backer. We'll take a break here on 3304 Sports, but when we come back, the Hokies have the ball at midfield, scoreless early in Blacksburg. We're back in just a moment. Welcome back to Lane Stadium. So great to have you with us on 3304 Sports. Hokies have the ball at their own 32-yard line. Hooker is in the gun, and we welcome you back to Lane Stadium. Frierson helped off the field. It's 3rd and 2 for Virginia Tech at their own 33-yard line. Hooker looks over to the Hokie sideline for an audible. 2 receivers split out wide to his right. Blackshear is the back. Hurricanes show pressure on 3rd and 2. Low snap. Hooker fakes the throw, and he is swarmed on a quarterback draw. A loss of 2. Jalen Phillips again in for Miami. 4th down, Hokies. Miami brings pressure, and it pays off.
And that's the 2nd run play we've seen Virginia Tech run, and both times met behind the line of scrimmage. Miami's expecting the run, and it's been working for them on defense.
It was a low snap trying to throw the slant. So Bradburn stands at his own 20. The Hokies punter takes the snap, sends it away. High end over end punt, and a fair catch is signaled for and caught by Jarius Howard at the 23-yard line. So Miami gets the stop they were looking for on defense, and out comes the talented De'Aaron King, redshirt senior from Manville, Texas. He's coming off of a career day against North Carolina State. Over 500 combined yards, 5 touchdowns. He's a huge reason why the Hurricanes are ranked number 9 in the country. Dual threat. Starts in the pistol from the 21, takes the snap, read option, give. Up the middle goes Cameron Harris, close to the 31-yard line. A gain of what looks to be 10 yards, and it might move the sticks for a Miami first down. Hurricanes will go no huddle from their own 31. 2 receivers to the right. Read option, Harris pitches it back to King. Throws over the middle. It is caught at the 50-yard line. Brevin Jordan with the reception. He missed the last 3 games. Little bit of a flea flicker there for Miami.
Yeah, an interesting play and a perfectly placed pass by De'Aaron King, showing the definition of dual threat.
2 receivers to the right. King on first down. Throws out wide. It is caught. Mark Pope, a gain of 2 as he races forward to the Virginia Tech 48-yard line there on a wide receiver screen. Mark Pope, the junior from Miami, Florida, caught a touchdown last week against North Carolina State. From the 48, 2nd down and 8, 12-18 to play first quarter. 2 receivers to the left for King. 4 down linemen for Tech. He claps his hands, throws a slant over the middle. It is hauled in at the 41-yard line by Pope. Hard hit there from Dorian Strong, the Hokies cornerback. It brings up a short 3rd and 1. No huddle, read option, handoff, Cameron Harris. He powers his way forward for a gain of 3 yards. That'll move the sticks for a Miami first down.
De'Aaron King is pretty much picking apart this Virginia Tech defense. They know they're missing a few key pieces on pass defense. Perfect so far through the air.
From the Hokies' 38-yard line, pistol set. Harris is the back. King pitches out wide. And running forward to the 34-yard line there, Jalen Knighton, the backup running back, a freshman who has a bright future ahead at Miami. We've seen a healthy dose of Harris, also Donald Chaney Jr. and Knighton. It's 2nd down and 7. Pistol set. King takes the snap, hands off. Donald Chaney Jr. powers forward, a gain of a yard. Justice Reed, the Hokies defensive end, meets him at the line of scrimmage. It's 3rd down as King looks to the sideline. Hurricanes moving very quickly on this opening drive.
And no huddle trying to catch Virginia Tech off guard, and so far it's been working for them, but a 3rd and 6 face the Canes.
From the Hokies' 34-yard line, 2 receivers to the right and left of King. Hokies with 4 down linemen. King takes the snap, drops back to the 45. He's flushed out right, pressure coming, throws, caught at the 31-yard line. It is hauled in by Jafari Harvey, but he is short by 2 yards. It's 4th and 2. Jose Borregales, one of the best kickers in the country, and it looks like decision time for Manny Diaz. He will bring on Jose Borregales, who has a long of 57 yards. The redshirt senior transferred in from Florida International. Ball is spotted on the right hash, a 47-yard attempt. Lou Headley, the punter, will hold. From 47, it's a fake. They snap it to Borregales. He is tripped up near the line of scrimmage, and he is short. Borregales on the fake, tried to pick up the first down. Armani Chapman there to bring him down. A turnover on downs. Manny Diaz with the fake field goal attempt there. Miami comes away with nothing.
And Chapman was expecting it. He was standing up, not rushing Borregales, coming in and making that tackle. Diaz said the run was working so well on that drive, why not try with the kicker? And it fails for the Canes.
And Borregales, one of the best kickers in the country, well within his range at 47 yards. Headley, the punter, got the snap, flipped it to Borregales, and he ran to the far side of the field. Chapman was waiting for him, so Miami comes away with nothing after what looked to be a promising drive. All right, everybody, let's everyone take their breath. A lot of offense and a lot of no huddle between Miami and Virginia Tech. We'll step aside for a break. Scoreless game from Blacksburg, middle of the first quarter. You're listening to 3304 Sports. Welcome back to a sunny Lane Stadium. It's a perfect fall day for football. Temperatures in the low 60s. We've got a good one so far. Scoreless game between Miami and Virginia Tech. The Hurricanes faked a field goal attempt. Jose Borregales was stuffed short. So the Hokies get the football back. They begin the drive on their own 29-yard line. Miami stopped Hendon Hooker on a 3rd and short on their first drive, forced Virginia Tech to punt. Raheem Blackshear's the back to the right of Hooker in the gun, trips to the left. On 1st and 10, Hooker, hard snap count, takes the snap, looks right, throws a screen, deflected. Knocked to the ground as Brooks knocks the ball down. Sam Brooks Jr., the sophomore linebacker, getting some extra playing time. Again, Miami without one of their best linebackers today, Zach McLeod. It's a big play there, knocking down the screen pass.
Yeah, a huge play. Almost looked like Brooks was going to pick it up, thinking it was a fumble at first, but an incompletion.
2 receivers to the left and right for Hooker. It's 2nd and 10. Blackshear again, the back to the right of him in the gun. 4 down linemen for Miami. On 2nd and 10, read option. Keep by Hooker. RPO, he throws near sideline for Turner. Airmails him, incomplete. Brings up 3rd and 10.
And Corey Couch for Miami almost diving towards that sideline, trying to make a toe tap interception, but too far into the Virginia Tech bench, and an incompletion for Hendon Hooker.
That's all Hendon Hooker on the RPO. If he sees an opening for Blackshear, he'll give it to him. He pulled it out, threw for Turner, who's coming off of a great week against North Carolina State. 3rd and 10 for the Hokies. 9:44 to play in the first quarter. James Mitchell comes in motion. Blackshear the back, 2 receivers to the left. Hooker takes the snap. Pressure coming. Steps up and dumps it off for Blackshear. He's across the 30, 35. He's got the first down. Blackshear across the 40, out of bounds at the 41-yard line as the secondary of Miami chases him out of bounds. First down, Virginia Tech.
Blackshear having to step up big without Khalil Herbert, who was injured last week against Liberty. A huge play there.
Trips to the left for Hooker. They go quickly on 1st and 10. Hand off Blackshear, and he fights forward for a yard, trying to fight off Quincy Roche, the redshirt senior transfer from Temple. The defensive end took a visit to Blacksburg, decided to go to Miami. It's 2nd down and 9. 9 minutes to play. This is the Hokies' second drive of the game. Have the ball at their own 43-yard line. We've seen the Hurricanes bring a decent amount of pressure thus far. This game could come down to who wins in the trenches. Bunch set for Tech on 2nd and 9. Robinson comes in motion to the far sideline. Blackshear the back. Hooker surveys the defense. He claps his hands, takes the snap on 2nd and 9. Pressure coming, throws over the middle, caught. Robinson spins and turns, dragged down at the 50-yard line. In on the stop for Miami, Al Blades Jr. It's 3rd and manageable for the Hokies at midfield. And once again, Brad Cornelson tells Hendon Hooker to go no huddle. 2 receivers to the left and right for Hooker. He's alone. Takes the snap. Pressure coming. He is wrapped up and sacked. Jalen Phillips brings him down at the 41-yard line. What a day thus far for Phillips. He's been all over the field.
And so far, you're correct. He's been all over the field, but also making a lot of tackles for losses. Hooker on the sack. Blackshear behind the line of scrimmage a couple of times as well. It's just been dominance when they're able to crack that line.
Oscar Bradburn back to punt. Sends a high end-over-end punt that rolls at the 25-yard line and is down by Divine Diablo at the 22-yard line. 7:45 to play in the first quarter. Miami and Virginia Tech, 2 prolific offenses. Both teams have shown flashes, but a scoreless game thus far here inside of Lane Stadium. Great to have you with us on 3304 Sports alongside Tyler Katz. I'm Evan Hughes. Storyline early. Khalil Herbert, active for this game, has not played a snap for Virginia Tech. Meanwhile, for Miami, Brevin Jordan back. He's made an impact. Here's King starting at his own 24-yard line on 1st and 10. Fakes the handoff, throws out wide, and this is caught, hauled in. Mark Pope made the catch at the line of scrimmage. He races forward to the 30-yard line for a gain of 7 on 1st down.
And Miami's just been able to do whatever they want. Other than that fake field goal that didn't work out for them, Miami has just been dominant on offense.
2nd down and 5 as King takes the snap. Pressure coming, steps up and throws, dropped. This is dropped at the 38-yard line. Michael Harley, the senior from Fort Lauderdale, was open off of his hands. Clock stops with 7:20 to go. It's 3rd down and 5. It's the first incompletion of the game for King. They attempted a fake field goal on their opening drive, came away empty. So King looks over to the sideline, is talking with his offensive line. 2 receivers to the right for King. The back is Cameron Harris. Jordan in motion to the far side of the field. Pressure comes for Tech, and King spins, is chased, throws it up for his back Harris. It's incomplete over his head, and that'll fire up the Virginia Tech sideline. All-out blitz, nothing De'Aaron King could do. Hurricanes are forced to punt.
And finally, forcing De'Aaron King to make incompletions. That we knew a big question coming into this was Virginia Tech's pass defense. It's been working on this set of downs.
Gerard Hewitt wearing the 25, the defensive tackle, was in on that blitz. So for the first time today, we see Lou Headley come out to punt. Raheem Blackshear is back deep to return. Headley stands at his own 15. Tavion Robinson not back deep to return for Tech. He was the starter earlier in the year. As Headley gets the snap, sends it away, high over end kick. As Blackshear lets it take a hop at the 35, it rolls inside the 20, continues to roll all the way down to the 13-yard line. What a punt from Lou Headley, flipping the field position. 7:04 to play in the first quarter. Both teams have shown the ability to be explosive on offense early despite any points, but the defenses of Miami and Virginia Tech showing up early. We'll pause for a break. We come back with more first quarter action. You're listening to 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Lane Stadium. Beautiful day for football. Virginia Tech and Miami scoreless. 7:04 to play in the first quarter as Hendon Hooker comes back out. Third drive of the game for the Hokies. Khalil Herbert is on the field for the first time today. Returned the opening kickoff last week against Liberty. Injured his hamstring. Did not return. He's right to the right hip of Hooker on 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. A handoff to Herbert, and he drags 4 Miami Hurricanes forward for a gain of 6. He was met at the line of scrimmage and carries them with him at 2nd and 3.
Before that, he was met before the line of scrimmage, making his impact felt. He literally dragged half of that Miami defense 6 yards downfield before finally being taken down.
It's 2nd down and 4 with 6:38 to play first quarter. 2 receivers to the left and right for Hooker. Brings Robinson in motion, read option, fake the handoff to Herbert, throws to the flats, caught. This is Robinson across the 25, and he's out of bounds with first down yardage as the Hokies move the sticks.
Having to be caught in that Virginia Tech sideline by Tyler Matheny of the Virginia Tech defense before being pushed back out onto the field.
2 receivers to the right and left for Hooker from the 31-yard line. He takes the snap. A flag is thrown. Hooker throws a one-on-one jump ball. This is incomplete, intended for Caleb Smith, but a flag is thrown. And there might be 2 penalties here, Tyler. Miami might have jumped off sides. There was a flag right as the snap occurred, and then there's a flag in the secondary.
And for me, that was all pass interference by Al Blades Jr., just textbook wrapping him up, avoiding him from making that catch.
Here is the call from our referee, Jeff Flanagan. And we have offsides on Miami. That penalty is declined, but pass interference on Al Blades Jr. He was grabbing the jersey of Caleb Smith. That's an automatic first down. And now Virginia Tech with great field position at midfield in this scoreless game.
Yeah, and that was a huge penalty to not only get them 15 yards downfield, but to reset the chains as well, farther downfield, finally into close to midfield again.
1st and 10. Virginia Tech has the ball at their own 46-yard line. 2 receivers to the right for Hooker. Brings Robinson in motion to the far side of the field. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff. Hooker races up the middle. Hooker into open space. Hooker across the 30, the 20. Breakaway speed. Hendon Hooker takes it all the way. Touchdown Tech. Hendon Hooker with a 50-plus yard rushing touchdown. Faked the jet sweep. Offensive line parted the seas up the middle, and Hooker puts Virginia Tech on the board first at Lane Stadium.
Put on the afterburners once he crossed that 35-yard line. The last cane, or the closest cane to him, was Amari Carter. Couldn't even come close to matching Hendon Hooker's speed.
Brian Johnson on for the extra point. A low snap. Bradburn able to get it back up in time as Brian Johnson swinging the leg, puts it through the uprights. Hokies on top 7-0 against the 9th-ranked Miami Hurricanes. What a play from Hooker, though, as Miami clearly expecting the handoff on the jet sweep to Tavion Robinson. As we are fortunate enough to look at the replay, Jalen Phillips, who's been all over the field today, you see him containing there, waiting for the handoff, and that allows Hooker to take off right up the middle. It's the 9th rushing touchdown of the season for Hendon Hooker, who's taken on a large part of the running game for Virginia Tech with Khalil Herbert banged up. 6:01 to play in the first quarter. It's 7-0 Virginia Tech, a team that's coming off such a disappointing loss to Liberty. That'll certainly fire the team up against a team in Miami that's in contention for a college football playoff berth.
In Miami, the Vegas odds had Virginia Tech favored by 2.5 points. People are starting to wonder, Virginia Tech with an early lead, was that a mistake by Vegas or not?
Brian Johnson has the ball teed up. Pope is back deep to return. Johnson races forward. Swing of the leg. High end-over-end kick. And this drops in the end zone for a touchback. Well, we saw in the opening drive for Miami, a little bit of razzle-dazzle, flea flicker, no huddle, RPOs. Manny Diaz trotted out Jose Borregales. They faked the field goal. Did not pick up enough yardage. And that's really a costly decision early at this point in the game. So out comes De'Aaron King, a transfer from Houston, has been so terrific this season. He's been accurate early. He's 6 of 8 for 39 yards, but does not have any rushing yards. He starts in the pistol from the 25-yard line. Read option. He hands off to Donald Chaney Jr. A gain of 3 as Dax Hollyfield's in on the stop. 2nd and 7. Clock churns under 5:50 in the opening quarter.
And Miami needs answers here.
As King looks over to the sideline, the entire offense looking over. Miami, they're all whites, moving right to left. Hokies in the maroon uniforms. 4 down linemen for Tech. Pistol set. King fakes the read option, throws to the flat. This is caught. Brevin Jordan stiff arms off of Dax Hollyfield. He levels forward to the 32-yard line, brings up 3rd and 3, and there's the physicality of tight end Brevin Jordan.
Yeah, just showing flashes of it. Couldn't shake off Hollifield with the stiff arm. Still went down where the stiff arm took place. But just showing what Brevin Jordan can do with somebody maybe a little bit less of a caliber than Dax Hollifield.
Trips to the left for King, including Brevin Jordan, who's in the slot. 4 down linemen. Hokies bring pressure. King the snap. A draw play. Races forward towards the first down marker. It'll depend on the spot. It looks like he has it, and indeed he does. De'Aaron King uses his feet to pick up the first down. Once again, Miami, a no-huddle offense, trips to the right. Pistol set. King fakes the read option, tucks it himself, races forward for a gain of 9, tackled by Rayshard Ashby, brought down at the 45-yard line.
And so far, it looks like Virginia Tech's been doing a good job of keeping King to these small, less than 10-yard running plays. That was a gain of 9, but still keeping him contained.
On 2nd and 1 from the pistol, read option. Harris spins off of Ashby, powers his way forward for a gain of 1, and he is able to pick up the necessary yardage. First down, Miami. Ashby was there first, Tyler, got a hand on Harris, but he was able to break away and get the yard that was needed. Clock runs under 4 minutes, opening quarter. Hokies lead the Hurricanes 7-0. 2 receivers to the left for King. Harris the back in the gun. Here is the snap. Read option handoff to Harris. He's dragged down by Justice Reed. A gain of 2. Kind of carrying Reed with them there. It's 2nd and 8. Hurricanes continue to look over to first-year offensive coordinator Rhett Lashley on the sideline. What a job he's done coming over from SMU. 2 receivers to the right for King. From the 48-yard line, the snap to King. Pressure comes. Throws near sideline. This is caught. Hauled in by D. Wiggins. Dragged down at the 36-yard line by Breon Murray and Armani Chapman. First down, Canes. They're into Hokie territory. No huddle again. King races to the line. Takes the snap on 1st and 10. Looks over the middle. Flushed out right. He throws far sideline. Caught. A gain of 2 as Jeremiah Payton, the redshirt freshman, his first catch of the game. A little toe tap on the sideline, 2nd and 8.
And again, King, even though there's more short yardage plays, able to complete a majority of his passes, only incomplete 2 passes so far.
From the 33-yard line, it's 2nd and 8. King claps his hands, read option, give to Harris. He has space across the 30, 25-20, knocked down at the 19-yard line by Dorian Strong. First down, Miami. Big run for Cameron Harris.
And the first time either of these teams are in the red zone so far today. The touchdown by Hooker on the previous drive came from past midfield.
2 receivers to the left for King from the 18-yard line. Read option, handoff to Harris, and he is met at the line of scrimmage by a host of Hokies, including Justice Reed. A gain of none. 2nd and 10. Clock runs under 2:17 to play first quarter. Hokies lead the Hurricanes 7-0, but Miami knocking on the door. Trips to the left for King, no receivers to his right. Pistol set, Harris the back. King surveys the defense, takes the snap, read option, handoff to Harris again. He's met by Ashby and Mario Kendricks. He's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10 coming for Miami, and this is the first time Virginia Tech has gotten them into a 3rd and long situation all game.
Yeah, and we saw they are able to make stops on 3rd and 4th down, the 4th down stop on the fake field goal, the 3rd down stop on their previous drive.
3rd and 10 from the Hokies' 18-yard line. Trips to the right for De'Ara King. Hokies show 4 down linemen and pressure from the linebackers. They drop back in coverage on 3rd and 10. King is brought down and sacked. All-out blitz there and bringing him down, Mario Kendricks. 4th down for Miami. Hokies and Justin Hamilton, the defensive coordinator, bring pressure. It pays off.
And the native Floridian in Kendricks taking him down with authority. That was a really rough sack on King.
So Borregales will come out to attempt a 42-yard field goal. Ball's on the right hash. The holder is the punter, Lou Headley. They fake the first attempt. Good snap, good hold. The swing of the leg from Borregales. He splits the upright with plenty of leg. He's now 14 of 15 on the season. Hurricanes are on the board in Lane Stadium. A 13-play, 50-yard drive that took 5 minutes and 24 seconds off the clock. 7-3 Hokies lead with 37 seconds left to play in the first quarter. And Tyler, it felt like Miami not going as much tempo as they were earlier in the game, but a very ground and pound drive there for Miami, in which they got a lot done on the ground.
I think their first 2 drives, they were going in that hurry-up offense. It obviously didn't work out for them. Now slowing it down, Lashley wanting to take his time, the offensive coordinator for the Miami Hurricanes, and it works. It gets them points on the board. Maybe not the 7 they wanted, but they'll certainly take a 3.
Miami coming in today ranked 9th in the country. Virginia Tech coming off of a tough loss to Liberty. They have lost their last 6 games against opponents that have been ranked inside the AP top 10. This Hokies team has certainly come ready to play today. Justin Fuente, 14-5 in games after a loss in his career at Virginia Tech. Borregales has the ball teed up. He races forward. Big swing of the leg. And one of the best kickers in the country puts it through the end zone for a touchback. So 7-3, Hokies are leading, and they've done it primarily without Khalil Herbert, again, who's been battling a hamstring injury. Did have a carry on the Hokies' last drive, but it's been a healthy dose of Raheem Blackshear and, of course, Hendon Hooker. If you're just joining us, had a 46-yard rushing touchdown on the last drive. From the 25-yard line, 2 receivers to the right for Hooker. Blackshear is the back. On 1st and 10, Hooker takes the snap, pitches out wide for Blackshear. He races forward to the 30-yard line, driven out of bounds by DJ Ivey, a gain of 5 on the play, brings up 2nd down.
And Virginia Tech, you now have Miami with 3 points, a chance to extend your lead. You know how Miami's defense works now after 3 drives.
Caleb Smith out left for Hooker. Here comes Robinson in motion on 2nd down and 5. They fake the jet sweep. Hooker lofts one down the middle of the field. Hauled in Trey Turner at the 40-yard line. 1st down, Hokies. Biggest play of the day for the Hokies through the air.
And so far, Virginia Tech changing up their game plan. They're known as a rush offense first, with Khalil Herbert as their primary offensive playmaker other than Hendon Hooker. But now going through the air, I think it's catching Miami off guard.
And that big pass play will end the first quarter. We've had a fake field goal. We've had big-time offensive plays, a flea flicker. We've had a lot of fireworks early in the first quarter. We'll pause for a break here on 3304 Sports with the score: Virginia Tech 7, Miami 3. First quarter in the books. Virginia Tech leading Miami 7-3. 30-yard connection. Hendon Hooker to Trey Turner. Last play of the quarter. So it's 1st and 10 for Tech from the Miami 40-yard line. From the pistol, Hooker hands off to, keeps it himself and is wrapped up in the backfield. Jalen Phillips brings down the Hokies quarterback. A loss of 3 on the read option.
And Jalen Phillips, we've been saying his name all day. Huge plays for the Hurricanes, wrapping up Blackshear and Hooker behind the line of scrimmage.
It brings up 2nd and 14. Hokies now just outside of Brian Johnson field goal range. 30 seconds into the second quarter, trips to the left. Hooker brings Turner in motion to the near side of the field. Blackshear the back in the gun. 4 down lineman for Miami. Hooker drops back to the 50, throws a slant, caught Turner, keeps his balance. He's down at the 37-yard line. Looked like he was maybe taken down to the 40, extends to the 37. He's officially brought down by Amari Carter, which brings up 3rd and manageable for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, and this is really, you have a lot of plays in your wheelhouse, a 7-yard gain needed.
From the 36-yard line, it's 3rd and 7. 2 receivers to the left for Hooker. Caleb Smith, the lone receiver, out right. Hooker looks over to the sideline for an audible. A redshirt junior from Greensboro, North Carolina, brings Dulius, the tight end, in motion. On 3rd and 7, Hooker hands off to Blackshear, and he is met at the line of scrimmage. Brought to the ground by Jonathan Ford, the defensive tackle. A gain of a half-yard at best. The Hokies run the ball there on 3rd down. And decision time for Justin Fuente. Brian Johnson, his kicker, has a long of 55 on the year. This would just be at his long, and he will bring out Johnson, the redshirt senior from Washington, D.C. He's 14 of 18 on the year, 5 of 6 beyond 40 yards, and 2 of 5 beyond 50. 55 yards is his long. This is a 54-yarder. Here's the snap in the hold, the swing of the leg, and Johnson misses this wide right, not even close. Did not have the distance, and the Hokies come away empty after what looked to be a promising drive.
And I think Johnson was too worried about the power to get 54 yards rather than the accuracy, because with a kicker like Brian Johnson, you don't pull a ball that far right when you're not looking for accuracy.
So De'Aaron King and the Hurricanes will have a chance to maybe take the lead on their upcoming possession. Hokies come away empty after the Johnson miss, continue to lead 7-3 early in the second quarter. As we pause for a timeout, you're listening to 3304 Sport. Welcome back to Lane Stadium, a gorgeous day in Southwest Virginia. Temperatures in the low 60s, and a good ball game right now. Virginia Tech leading 7-3. Here's De'Aaron King in the Miami offense, starting on their own 37-yard line. On 1st and 10, he fakes the handoff to Harris, throws a slant over the middle, incomplete. Had D. Wiggins in stride on a slant. It might have been a touchdown if he had enough speed to break away, and it's an incomplete pass on 1st and 10.
And not a lot of incompleted passes so far today by De'Aaron King. Hokies need to take advantage of this opportunity.
4 down linemen for Tech on 2nd and 10. Pistol set, read option, handoff to Harris, bounces off his right guard, and then is wrapped up and dropped by Divine Diablo near the line of scrimmage. A gain of 1 on the play, 3rd and 9 for the Canes. Working left to right, 12:27 to play until halftime. Trips to the left for King, Harris the back by his right hip. The redshirt senior claps his hands. Now looks over to Rhett Lashley, the offensive coordinator, on the sidelines. Jordan is out wide left. He's been a tough target today for the Hokies to defend. On 3rd and 9, pressure comes. King pressured and dropped to Rod Hewitt, wearing the 25 jersey in honor of Coach Frank Beamer. Sacks him on 3rd down, and Miami will be forced to punt.
Huge play. You saw the pressure coming from miles away. I don't know how King didn't see the pressure coming, but a combination of Justice Reed and Gerard Hewitt to take down King, a loss of 10 on the sack.
Remember, Miami without their left tackle, John Campbell Jr., and their left guard, Ja'Kai Clark, so not at full strength today on their O-line. So their punter, Lou Headley, now stands at his own 14-yard line. Raheem Blackshear deep to return. Here's the snap. Headley rolls out wide right, sends a high end-over-end punt towards the near side of the 20-yard line, and that rolls out of bounds. No chance of return for Raheem Blackshear, who looks to have taken over the punt return duties for Virginia Tech. Tavion Robinson had a muff punt last week that contributed to Liberty winning 38-35, so the transfer from Rutgers getting some opportunities to return punts for Virginia Tech. Well, the Hokies with a chance to extend upon their lead. 7-3, Tech leads with 11:17 to play in the second quarter. Khalil Herbert begins this drive as the back to the left of Hooker in the gun. Trips to Hooker's right on 1st and 10. Read option. Handoff, no, keep by Hendon Hooker. He lunges forward for a gain of 2 yards. I think everybody, including the cameraman there, might have thought that was a handoff to Khalil Herbert. Hooker, who is leading the team in rushing, thanks in large part to his 46-yard rushing touchdown. Kept it himself. It's 2nd and 8 from the 22-yard line. Trips to the right. 5 down lineman for Miami, and Hooker takes the snap, fumbles it, picks it up, and is able to run forward for another gain of 2 yards. Low snap there from Brock Hoffman nearly costed Virginia Tech.
I don't know if I've ever seen a fumbled snap by a team have the quarterback pick it up and still gain yards on the play. Just shows the skill set of the offensive line.
On 3rd and 6, Hooker steps up, throws a dart. It is caught. Caleb Smith across the 50, and he's brought down at the 49-yard line by Gervin Hall Jr. First down, Tech. Big-time reception for Caleb Smith.
And this is what Virginia Tech has had to rely on. Miami is expecting the running game. Virginia Tech is changing that up by saying we can go through the air too.
On 1st and 10 from the 49, Hooker hands off Khalil Herbert. He sprints forward across the 45, dropped at the 43, but there is a flag on the play. We get the call from our referee this afternoon, only the 2nd flag of the game. Here's Jeff Flanagan. Now turns off his mic. Here's the official call. And a penalty on Miami. Not against the Hokies. Thought it was a potential hold. Illegal substitution on the Hurricanes defense. And the Hokies will have a first down. Again, now inside Miami territory. Now here's 1st and 5 from the 44. Hooker the snap. Pitches it out wide for Khalil Herbert. He's dragged out of bounds near the 40-yard line. Excellent pursuit there from Corey Couch, the cornerback for Miami. Brings up 2nd and 2. And we've seen a lot of Raheem Blackshear today, but starting to see more Khalil Herbert on this drive. 2 receivers out wide right for Hooker. Herbert the back on 1st and 10. Audible now as looks over, and a timeout is called. Was there a penalty flag first? We wait, and there's a review, rather. A review, so no timeout. Jeff Flanagan stops the clock, 9:34 to play in the 2nd quarter. Previous play was a pitch from Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this review could be about. If I'm not mistaken, that was the play with the illegal substitution for Miami. So that would cancel out the play.
Which was declined. So they will take a look. While they take a look, we'll take a look as well, and we will step aside for a break here on 3304 Sports. With 9:34 to play in the 2nd quarter, Hokies lead 7-3 and have the ball inside Miami territory. You're listening to 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Lane Stadium. Virginia Tech leading Miami 7-3, threatening with the ball in Miami territory. And you know, both of these teams typically put up a lot of points. Miami and Virginia Tech's defenses have really shown up in today's game. And one of the stories going in today, Miami down there starting left tackle and left guard. Hokies have had some success in the trenches.
So far it's been a quarterback battle, a coaching battle between Fuente and Diaz.
On 2nd down and 1, Herbert is the back. Hooker takes the snap, rolls out right. Hooker takes off across the 25-20, and he's dragged down at the 17-yard line. Quarterback power for Hendon Hooker. He moves the chains. First down, Hokies. And there looks to be an injured player on the field for Miami. That is Sam Brooks Jr., their linebacker.
And it looked like he was going in for the tackle. Just had a hard hit on his shoulder when he was hitting the turf. And they are indeed looking at that left shoulder on Brooks Jr.
And keep in mind for Miami, they're down Zach McLeod, one of their top linebackers. We saw Gilbert Frierson exit the game earlier. He's somebody who kind of plays a linebacker as that striker position. So this is a really important player for Miami in this game who's down. We're going to step aside as the athletic training team attends to him. 7-3 the score. Hokies inside the 20 when we come back on 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Lane Stadium. A good one between Virginia Tech and Miami. 7-3 Hokies lead, 9:18 to play. They have the ball at the Hurricanes' 18-yard line. On 1st and 10, Hooker hands off to Jalen Holston, angles near side, makes a cut back at the 10, spins off a tackler, and he's dropped at the 8-yard line. Brought down by Bubba Bolden. Jalen Holston with a powerful run for the Hokies. 2nd and 2, and Virginia Tech goes no huddle from the 8-yard line. 2 receivers left. Hooker hands off. Holston, he's got a hole across the 5. Holston lunges forward. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Tech. Jalen Holston, 2 powerful runs in a row. 2nd touchdown of the day for Tech. And what a moment for Jalen Holston, someone who's battled injury throughout his career. 3rd-string running back gets his moment, his first touchdown of the year.
And a big play for Holston, who was sidelined last year because of an injury suffered in their season in Virginia Tech's season opener against Boston College. A huge moment for Holston after that injury.
Here is the snap, the hold. Brian Johnson swinging the leg. It splits the upright. A 7-play, 80-yard drive that took just 2.5 minutes off the clock for Virginia Tech. 14-3 the Hokies coming off a loss to Liberty, playing a red-hot Miami team up 14-3. And really, Tyler, I mean, this game has been a lot about the Hokies right now.
Yeah, they've managed to control Miami, keep them almost guessing on that pass-run ratio. I think Miami came into this game expecting a much higher run offense run by the Hokies, but so far, Hendon Hooker throwing the ball 9 times, not as much as King, but still a decent amount of passing plays. In that game against Louisville, Virginia Tech only passed the ball 10 times total in that win against the Cardinals. So I think Miami is a little caught off guard on how much Virginia Tech is using the air game.
So 8:47 to play. Miami does get the ball to begin the second half. Hokies lead at 14-3. John Parker Romo, who transferred from Tulsa last year, awarded a scholarship in the offseason. He's the kickoff specialist. There he is. He races forward, swing of the leg. This will be returned at the 1-yard line by Jalen Knighton. And Knighton angles near side. And then he's dragged out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Typically see Knighton as well as Pope. And for a moment there, it looked like Knighton might have pitched, and it looked like maybe he had something on special teams there. But Knighton hung on to the ball. He's out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Opportunity now for De'Ara King and the Hurricanes to score their first touchdown of the game with 8.5 to play until halftime.
And I would say they need a score here, but even looking at last year's game, Virginia Tech coming out to a 28-0 lead in Miami Gardens before Miami stormed back to tie the game in that second half.
From the 17-yard line, bunch set for Miami. Harris the back on first down. Pressure comes on the outside, and King is tripped as he throws, gets it out to his running back. And Mike Harley, gain of 2. And Miami lucky there to get a gain on that as King was throwing as Justice Reed was wrapping up his ankles. And it's 2nd down and 8 from the 19-yard line. Pressure comes. King steps up in the pocket, throws far side. This is caught at the 30-yard line. Hauled in D. Wiggins, 3rd reception of the game. 1st and 10 Miami.
Wiggins a little bit of trickery there, going in circles, trying to make those 3 Tech defenders miss, but eventually being brought down.
From Miami's own 30-yard line, 2 receivers to the right for King. The running back is Jalen Knighton. King takes the snap, looks left, throws left. This is caught, hauled in by Wiggins yet again at the 36-yard line. He's dragged down by linebacker Dax Hollyfield. Hokies given a lot of cushion to the Miami receivers on this drive.
Yeah, and this is exactly the opposite of what was happening on Miami's last drive, where Virginia Tech swallowed them up.
On 2nd and 3, read option, keep by King. Across the 40, spins away from Devin Taylor, and he's down at the 48-yard line. De'Ara King shows off the wheels there on the read option keep. 1st down Miami, they'll go no huddle. Trips to the right for King. Looks over for an audible on the sideline. Clock churns under 7:15 to play. From the 46, King claps his hands. Designed quarterback run, gets a blocker. King across the 50, brought down at the Hokies' 48-yard line. And this is where Miami's very dangerous when they continue to work no huddle.
And we saw that their first drive, they got into field goal range, eventually going for the fake, but the no huddle has been working for the Canes.
Pistol set, King brings Brevin Jordan, the tight end, into the backfield almost as an H-back. Pressure shown from Tech, and there's movement. A flag is thrown. We'll wait to see if this is a false start. And indeed it is a false start on Miami. You see King holding his hands out there. There was movement on both sides, and I think Miami realized Virginia Tech was bringing a blitz there.
Yeah, and that kind of gives away the scheme for Virginia Tech and Justin Hamilton, but now trying to get a new look on that Miami air raid that they seem to have been using this drive.
That backs Miami up to their own 44-yard line. It's 2nd down and 10. 4 down lineman for Tech. Hollyfield shows pressure. Here's the snap. Read option. Handoff to Harris. He's got a hole in front of him across the 50. Brought down at the 41-yard line. Big time run there. It's 3rd and a yard. The 44-yard line. Need to get to the 43 to convert. 3rd and 1. 6 minutes to play in the second quarter. 14-3. Hokies lead the Hurricanes. Miami 2 of 6 on 3rd downs today. 2 receivers to the right for King. Harris the back in the pistol. Here comes pressure. King throws. Caught near sideline. Out of bounds, Mike Harley. 1st down, Hurricanes. Easy pitch and catch there for the Canes.
And the passing game is working for Miami this drive. It wasn't their last one. It just shows how Miami needs to be adaptable drive to drive.
2 receivers to the right and left for King as they go no huddle. Pistol set. King the snap, throws a bubble screen. This is caught. Pope out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Takes a big hit from safety Devin Taylor. Knocks him out of bounds. And the Hurricanes continue to chunk play after chunk play after chunk play on this drive. 5:30 to play, rolling clock, 14-3 Hokies on 2nd and 5. King drops back to the 45, throws a one-on-one jump ball. This is caught. Was he in bounds? He was. What a catch from D. Wiggins. Able to get a foot down, and a beautiful throw from De'Aaron King out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Throws it over 2 Hokie cornerbacks. It is 1st and goal from the 10. King tucks it himself, bounces it outside. King across the 5, has the angle. De'Aaron King is into the end zone. Touchdown Miami. Broken play, no problem for King. 1st touchdown of the day for Miami.
And a huge play, a huge catch by D. Wiggins, the play prior to set them up 1st and goal. And just an amazing run by De'Aaron King, faking out Divine Diablo and getting to that corner of the end zone for the score.
And initially he took the snap, looked to the far side to throw a screen, realized it wasn't there, just took off, and is able to put Miami on the board with a touchdown for the first time today. Borregales out for the extra point. He puts it through the uprights. 14-10. Hokies continue to lead, but what a quick, methodical drive for Miami. You saw on that drive why this is one of the most dangerous offenses in the country. 14-10 Hokies lead, 5:11 to play until halftime. You're listening to 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Lane Stadium. 14-10 Virginia Tech leads number 9 Miami. Jose Borregales has the ball teed up. He sends it away, and this is deep and in the end zone for a touchback. Hurricanes just got on the board, a 10-yard rushing touchdown for De'Aaron King. But maybe the story of the first half, Hendon Hooker, 7 of 9 through the air, 113 yards, 76 yards on the ground, and a touchdown that included a 53-yard rushing touchdown. So Hokies have led the majority of the first half, but the Hurricanes putting some pressure on Virginia Tech with 5:11 to play until halftime. Both quarterbacks have been storylines all year, and they've been stories in today's game. From the 25-yard line, 2 receivers to the left and right of Hooker. He takes the snap, throws a slant over the middle, incomplete, and nearly intercepted. Trying to force it in to find James Mitchell as tight end, but a flag is thrown. We'll wait for Jeff Flanagan to consult with Mike Morton, Tracy Lynch. And pass interference called on Miami. A little 5-yard slant play. There were a couple of Hurricanes in coverage there. So we'll wait to see who they got on pass interference. And it looks like maybe Bubba Bolden.
And that's the only one who was somewhat close to the play. I didn't, from the replay they showed on our screen here, any evidence of pass interference.
And it looked like on the replay that we're looking at that maybe the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. They can review that. Jeff Flanagan stops the clock at 5:08. We'll go take a look. Put the headset on. Again, they can review this to see, was the ball tipped to the line of scrimmage? If it was, then a defender can do whatever they want to a receiver after it's tipped. Jalen Phillips was there, and that ball definitely changes trajectory, it looks like, Tyler, after it gets by the defensive line.
Well, no, from that replay, it looked like Hooker's ball turned just before it hit the defensive line of Miami. You can see that it's already a bad pass when it's going towards Jalen Phillips of Miami.
We'll wait for the official review. By the way, worth bringing up, Miami, just 4 penalties today for 31 yards. Virginia Tech has yet to commit a penalty in today's game. You go back a couple of weeks ago against Wake Forest, Virginia Tech had over 100 yards in penalties, which is something that was uncharacteristic. It was the most amount of yards under Justin Fuente in his time, and that is something they have certainly cleaned up. So right now on the field, the ruling on the field is pass interference. Again, we have a break in the action. Jeff Flanagan looking to see if the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. You go back to things that Virginia Tech has improved upon. They've cleaned up the penalties. Justin Fuente coming off a tough loss last week, 14-5 in games after a loss, and the Hokies leading 14-10 against the 9th-ranked team in the country. Here is the call from Jeff Flanagan. Our referee says play stands as called. Ball was not tipped at the line of scrimmage. Pass interference on Bubba Bolden stands. 1st and 10 for Virginia Tech on their own 31-yard line. 2 receivers to the left for Hooker. Blackshear the back to the right of Hooker in the gun. 4 down linemen for Miami. 5:08 to play until halftime. Drake Dulius is in as a tight end behind the left tackle, Christian Darrisaw. On 1st and 10, pressure comes. Hooker lofts over the middle. Caught. Drake Dulius dragged down at the 45-yard line. He is brought down by Bradley Jennings Jr., the middle linebacker from Jacksonville. 2nd and 6, 4:50 clock running in the second quarter. Hokies will take their time here on offense. They've gone a little bit no huddle today. 2 receivers to the right, Turner in the slot, Blackshear the back. 2nd and 6, need to get to the 41. On 2nd and 6, Hooker hands off to Blackshear, nowhere to go. Met at the line of scrimmage by a host of Hurricanes, including Quincy Roche and Jalen Phillips, maybe the best defensive end combo in the conference.
Yeah, and Jalen Phillips, we've been saying his name a lot today. He's had a monster first half for the Hurricanes.
4:15 to play. 3rd and 6. Hooker the snap. Pressure comes. It's trying to evade Phillips, and he goes down. Hendon Hooker is sacked. Brought down as well by Sam Brooks Jr., the linebacker, as Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator for Miami, brought pressure, and it pays off in a big way.
Yeah, you knew Virginia Tech was going to pass in that situation on a 3rd down and 6. I just don't think they were confident enough to gain 6 yards.
Oscar Bradburn is on to punt, sends away a high end over end kick. The ball is bobbled and then picked up by Jarius Howard. The return man let it hit by his kneecap and took a friendly bounce right back to him. Nearly a big miscue for Miami. They're able to hang on to the football. And all of a sudden, Tyler, we've talked about how the momentum has been with Virginia Tech for the majority of this half. Hurricanes score, get a 3 and out, now get the ball back, and they get the ball to start the second half. 3:37 to play until halftime. 14-10 Hokies lead. Miami starts on their own 31. Shotgun set, King, read option, hands off, and a gain of 8 as Jalen Knighton backup running back carries forward for about 8 yards. 2nd and 2. Miami in their all-white Hokies and their maroon unis. Hurricanes moving left to right. 3:15 to play. 2nd and 2. Pistol set, read option, King, hands off to Knighton. He's got first down yardage, a gain of 3. Mario Kendricks in on the stop, but that'll move the chains for Miami first down.
Yeah, a huge first down. You don't need much. It was just a simple 2nd down and 2.
And there is an injured Hokie on the field, as it looks like the clock will stop momentarily, as for Virginia Tech, an unfortunate injury, it looks like, to Rod Hewitt, who had a big sack earlier in the game. He's wearing the 25 uniform this week. The senior from Venice, Florida, took a knee in the backfield on the previous line of scrimmage. You can see him waving his left hand, asking for the training staff to come on. Mike Goforth will go out and check. And look, he's grabbing his left arm. So if we get an update, we'll be sure to relay the news to you here on 3304 Sports. The clock is stopped, 3:06 to play. 1st and 10 for Miami from their own 44-yard line. Knighton is the back right behind De'Ara King. Brevin Jordan, the tight end, motions right behind his right tackle, Jared Williams. Pistol set, 1st and 10. King drops back to the 35, steps up and throws a deep shot down the far sideline. That pass is out of bounds. Doesn't even give D. Wiggins a chance. He actually collided with the kicker's net there. Out of bounds, but D. Wiggins, what a day he's had for Miami. 4 receptions for 55 yards. We haven't talked about Harley or Pope. It's been Wiggins getting it done today for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, Wiggins an unexpected target, especially with Brevin Jordan, the tight end for Miami, coming back. You would think he would want to see a lot of targets after missing a few weeks. But no, it's been D. Wiggins.
2 receivers to the right and left. As King takes the snap, throws a screen out wide for Harley. He's got space across the 50, darts across the 45, and he's knocked down by Devin Taylor at the Virginia Tech 40-yard line. Right on cue, Michael Harley, the senior from Fort Lauderdale. Just a simple bubble screen. He's got the first down.
And this is what's been working for Miami all day.
1st down and 10. King the snap. Pressure comes. He stands tall in the pocket. Throws too high. Had Mark Pope open at the 27-yard line. Didn't give him a chance there.
And a nice catch by the Virginia Tech coach on the sideline as it was fired to the Virginia Tech bench.
That's 2 passes from King on this drive. He has not given his receivers a chance when they were open. Clock stopped at 2:23, 2nd quarter. Hokies lead 14-10. From the Virginia Tech 39, King in the pistol, claps his hands, fakes the handoff to Knighton, keeps it himself, angles near sideline, and King maybe a gain of a yard in hot pursuit. Divine Diablo, Virginia Tech safety. It's 3rd and long for the Hurricanes.
And a huge opportunity for Virginia Tech. You have a 4-point lead right now, about to head into the locker room, 2 minutes away. You need a stop here for the Hokies.
3 receivers to the left for King, 2 to the right, nobody in the backfield. Need to get to the 29. King takes the snap, throws over the middle, caught. First reception of the day for Will Mallory, the backup tight end. He's got a first down for the Canes. That was a huge throw from De'Ara King.
And Mallory has been playing through an injury all season. Had to step up after Brevin Jordan was taken out.
2 receivers to the left and right for King. Here's the snap, fakes the handoff, drops back to the 20-yard line, throws over the middle, and it's deflected. Incomplete. Would have been a touchdown, but Breon Murray extends his right hand and swats it away.
And a huge touchdown-saving play by Breon Murray. And that was just a perfectly placed pass for D. Wiggins. Breon Murray just getting an arm in there, not pass interference, a just perfect play by Murray.
2nd down and 10 for the Hurricanes, under 90 seconds to play in the first half. And De'Ara King trotting towards the sideline. Looks like Manny Diaz will call a timeout. No, rather Justin Fuente will call a timeout, give his defense a chance to breathe. It's the first charge timeout for the Hokies. 1:28 to play until halftime. Miami looking to score, and then they get the ball to start the second half. 14-10, Hokies lead. And, you know, Tyler, it really feels like Miami, they could have panicked early in the first half. Not a lot was working offensively. Virginia Tech had some success defensively, but D'Eriq King has remained very cool, calm, and collected here in this second quarter, and Miami threatening to take the lead for the first time today now.
And Miami fans will tell you that Rhett Lashley has done a great job compared to Dan Enos, their offensive coordinator last year. A huge improvement on the Hurricane offense.
Back to the action. Miami has the ball at the Virginia Tech 22-yard line. Two receivers to the left and right. King, the snap. It's a quarterback draw. Darts up the middle. Has a gain of 3 or 4 yards. Now, Miami has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Clock will continue to run under 1:15. Third down, an opportunity for Virginia Tech to potentially force a field goal. Hurricanes will let the clock run. Moving left to right. Trips to the right for King. The back is Jalen Knighton. 4 down linemen for Tech. On 3rd and 6, the snap. Quarterback run, and King is swallowed and brought down. Amari Barno brings him down.
And Barno has been huge for Virginia Tech this season. His 11th tackle for a loss this season.
Amari Barno, a quiet first half, a loss of 5. 30 seconds, clock continues to run, and we'll likely see, we will see D'Eriq King stay on the field. 4th down and 11. 2 receivers to the left and right for Miami. Knight in the back. You wonder if they'll maybe try and draw Virginia Tech off sides. 5 seconds on the play clock, and the Hurricanes will let the clock roll down to 7 seconds. And
yeah,
that's where the timeout's taken by Manny Diaz.
That play was just a hard count by D'Eriq King and the Miami Hurricanes. With 4th and 11, down by 4, about to go into halftime, there was no way they were running a play on 4th and 11, and I think Virginia Tech knew that.
And they did not jump. So that's the first charge timeout for Manny Diaz in his second season as the head coach of the Hurricanes. And you mentioned it, Miami fans so happy with Rhett Lashley, who he hired to bring on as his offensive coordinator, did wonders at SMU. But out comes Jose Borregales. Folks, if you're a fan of special teams and you're a fan of the Miami Hurricanes, Borregales, the redshirt senior who transferred from Florida International, 14 of 15 on the season. Made a field goal earlier today. This one a manageable 40-yard attempt. Again, as long as 57 on the season. The holder is Headley, the punter. Ball is spotted on the left hash with 8 seconds left in the second quarter. Here is the snap, a good one. The hold, the swing of the leg, and Borregales splits the uprights. With 4 seconds left, Miami now 14-13 the score. There was some pushing and shoving after the play. A flag has been thrown. Hokies lead 14-13, and this penalty important here on the kickoff, Tyler.
What's interesting is it looks like the pushing and shoving was coming from the Borregales Headley battery. You don't normally see that from your special teams unit getting aggressive on field goals of all things.
And it's unsportsmanlike conduct on the punter, Lou Headley. And there was, again, some pushing and shoving. You mentioned it. It looked like Borregales and Headley, as soon as the kick went through the uprights, were involved. Some extracurriculars with Dorian Strong and Breon Murray. And just at the end there, as Headley's walking away, extends his right arm, an unnecessary push. Tyler, they say it's not the one who throws the first punch, it's the one who retaliates with the second hit. And it looks like there was some pushing on both sides, but Headley was the last one to extend his arm, so he gets the unsportsmanlike conduct. So now this will take place on the kickoff. 4 seconds left until halftime. 14-13 the score, and we're so glad you're with us on 3304 Sports. What a terrific, exciting game where we thought we'd see a lot of plays on offense. We've seen a lot of plays on defense as well. So the ball is now spotted at the 20-yard line. Borregales will kick off. And you wonder what Virginia Tech, they'll likely return here. You wonder if they'll maybe try to lateral around before the half. What special teams coordinator at Virginia Tech will decide to do, and Justin Fuente. But again, from the 20-yard line, Borregales lines up at the 10-yard line. He races forward, a squib kick. This will be caught on a hop at the 25-yard line by Jalen Holston. Angles near side across the 35, and he's wrapped up and brought down at the 37-yard line by Ryan Ragnow. That'll take us to halftime. Virginia Tech leads number 9 Miami 14-13. Hendon Hooker with a big first half on the ground and through the air, but the Hurricanes putting some pressure on Virginia Tech late in the second half. We'll step aside for a break. When we come back, Tyler Katz anchors our halftime coverage here on 3304 Sports.
Welcome to our halftime show where Virginia Tech holds a 14-13 lead over the number 9 team in the country, the Miami Hurricanes. I'm Tyler Katz, joined alongside Evan Hughes. And Evan, this has been not the game everybody was expecting with those high-scoring offenses from both sides, but more of a defensive battle between the Canes and Hokies.
I think the story of this game has been Virginia Tech's ability to somewhat slow down De'Ara King and the prolific Miami offense. What stood out to me in that first half was guys like on the defensive line, so Gerard Hewitt with a big third down sack. He's somebody who's been struggling coming into this game. Omari Barno with a big third down sack. Taking advantage of Miami missing their starting left tackle, John Campbell Jr., and their left guard, Ja'Kai Clark. I thought it was a really good first half for first-year defensive coordinator Justin Hamilton, mixing in blitz packages. Again, you hold King to 16 of 22 through the air, 144 yards. He's going to do that, but Virginia Tech did a really good job of applying pressure. And then meanwhile for Miami, Jalen Phillips, we talked about him in the pregame. Well, he has really shown up in the first half. A terrific start for him, and I think both teams have done a good job of limiting both teams' quarterbacks, despite Hendon Hooker's big 54-yard rushing touchdown.
Both head coaches expressed concern for the other quarterback before today's game. Fuente said about stopping De'Ara King, to say it's a daunting task is an understatement. And head coach Manny Diaz of the Miami Hurricanes said that quarterback Hendon Hooker for Virginia Tech changes the way you play defense. And obviously both making adjustments to their defense that seem to be working so far. It's not like both teams have a shutout, but both teams limiting the other to, I think, what both teams would consider what they wanted to do in the first half in limiting that score value.
No, absolutely. I think that for Virginia Tech, you look at the last 2 weeks. They saw Malik Cunningham 2 weeks ago, the Louisville quarterback, and he threw for 330 yards. But they did somewhat of a decent job containing him on defense. Last week, Malik Willis ran for over 100 yards for Liberty. Rayshard Ashby was banged up. So this is the third consecutive week that Virginia Tech has had to prepare against a mobile quarterback. And I think when you have those same reps, essentially you're preparing for Cunningham, Willis, and now King the same way. I think that's starting to show up for Virginia Tech. A terrific first half for Rayshard Ashby with 6 tackles right now, as well as Dax Hollyfield with 6 tackles. The linebacker play of Virginia Tech has struggled coming into today. They're showing up. And then for Miami, I think for the most part, Hendon Hooker has been held in check, but the chunk plays for Virginia Tech has been the difference. The 5-yard runs, the play action, the 30-yard pass to Trey Turner. It's been the small things that have opened up the opportunity for Hooker, like he capitalized on that 54-yard rushing touchdown. Miami, Quincy Roche with 3 tackles, a tackle for loss. Jalen Phillips with a sack and 2.5 tackles for loss in that first half. The defensive ends are really playing well against 2 great tackles in Luke Tenuta and Christian Darrisaw for Virginia Tech. We thought it'd be a factor. We still thought both offenses would do their thing. I think it's fair to say right now that defenses are more so doing their thing and limiting the other team's offense.
For Miami, a lot of fans, coaches, players expressed concern for Hendon Hooker's running performance against Liberty. He now has 57 net yards at halftime. Elsewhere in the country, in the top 25, Liberty, the team who Virginia Tech saw last weekend, currently leading an FCS program in Western Carolina, 28-7 at the half. Marshall up in the late second quarter against Middle Tennessee, 14-7. Indiana, a surprising top 10 team, up 24-0 against Michigan State in East Lansing. And elsewhere in the ACC, a barn burner between Wake Forest and North Carolina with just 25 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Wake Forest leads 35-24, a extremely high-scoring game. I think more so fans of the Hurricanes and Hokies were expecting that kind of scoreline heading into the locker room for this game.
Yeah, no doubt about that. That's a high scoring there between two teams in the ACC who are grinding it out. North Carolina still has a path to the ACC championship game. I tell you, Wake Forest every year just continues to surprise teams. The job that Dave Clawson has done there is truly remarkable. But yeah, I think if you'd asked me beforehand what score would be more likely at halftime between North Carolina, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Miami, I'd probably take the higher scoring game to be the Hokies and the Hurricanes. I think the other thing to note real quick, back to our game real quick, Tyler, is the fact that we have seen Khalil Herbert in this game for Virginia Tech, but not a lot of them. He was limited last week against Liberty, hurt his hamstring on the opening kickoff, and then did not play the remainder of the game. Just 2 carries for 11 yards. We've seen a lot of Raheem Blackshear. We've also seen Jalen Holston a touchdown. So I think Virginia Tech has found ways to get others involved besides Hendon Hooker being the sole guy running the football, which you don't want your quarterback to be the only person. So it was good to see Holston and Blackshear get some touches and try and get something going on the ground besides Hooker.
We'll see if both offenses can take off in the second half when we return for the second half on 3304 Sports, where the Hokies will head in with a 14-13 lead. Welcome back to 3304 Sports for the second half between the Virginia Tech Hokies and the number 9 team in the country, the Miami Hurricanes. Tyler Katz joined alongside Evan Hughes for the second half. Virginia Tech currently holding a 14-13 lead, but Evan, we were talking about it at the break. We're looking for a lot more scoring from both sides.
Well, it felt like Miami and their offense got into so much more of a rhythm there late in that second quarter. De'Aaron King with his 10-yard rushing touchdown. I think both teams had some success, and as this game gets deeper into the third quarter, early fourth quarter, I think you're going to see even more offense from both of these teams that can put up 40-plus points a game.
Miami won the toss at the beginning of the game and deferred to the second half, so they will receive immediately after kicking a field goal to give the ball back to Virginia Tech with 4 seconds left, but to give them 13 points. They're now down only 1 at the start of the second half.
You know, Bill Belichick was the one who actually started that theory a long time ago. Always defer to see if you can try and be the last team to score in the first half and then get the ball to start the second half. And that's exactly the opportunity that Miami has. And it's, I think, a good thing, too, because that was the best drive of the game for Miami. The 10-yard rushing touchdown from King capped it off. They went down the field. They ran the ball well. King got comfortable, had a couple of good passes as well inside the Hokies' 30-yard line. So I think that it's important here for Miami to get the ball because they've got the momentum. And it's going to be big for Virginia Tech's defense to try and stop them here on this first possession.
Well, we're just about set for kickoff. The ball is placed on the tee for John Parker Romo, and we are underway in the second half. This one will go through the end zone just to the left of the H in Hokies for a touchback. So Miami will take the ball out to the 25, where De'Aaron King will try to get his offense going yet again. And so far, a quarterback battle on the ground has gone to Hendon Hooker. 57 net yards and 8 attempts versus King's 10 attempts and a net gain of 24. And we talked about that earlier. Both dual threat quarterbacks. Hendon Hooker, the slight advantage on the ground. Miami will set up on the left hash mark. De'Aaron King under center on the 25-yard line. King is going to fake the handoff, throw over the middle, in time, completed to Michael Harley, a gain of about 10 yards, and the spot will be granted to Miami. First down for the Hurricanes.
We've seen the RPO all day, Tyler. De'Aaron King, the ball's in your hands. If he sees an opportunity to run, he'll give it to his back. And there, easy slant over the middle there. Just pitch and catch there for Miami. Easy enough.
And it looks like we had a small stoppage in play. Jeff Flanagan says resume, so it will be 1st and 10 for the Miami Hurricanes. A gain of 5 on the play brings it to the Miami 35-yard line. King's going to have one receiver on either side of him. Now in motion, Pope. Pope over the middle Now back to passes King. King looking deep. Down the right side and out of play. He was looking for Michael Harley.
I love the play call there from Rhett Lashley and the setup of that play. You bring Pope in motion, you fake the pitch to him, roll King out. He struggled today on the deep one-on-one jump ball passes. Just threw that well over Michael Harley's head there. He didn't have a chance to catch that.
So that will bring up 2nd down and 10. Another incompletion for King. Miami on the 35. King collapses hands, takes the snap, looking left side, looking deep, and a beautiful deflection by number 27 in Amarni Chapman for Virginia Tech, just getting his hand right in there in between the hands of D. Wiggins, who's been huge for the Hurricanes so far.
D. Wiggins had himself a first half. He caught 4 balls for 55 yards to lead the Hurricanes in receiving yards. There he beat Chapman, but he's able to get back to the ball in time, turn just in time as well, and bat the ball down. It's a big play for the sophomore. Remember, Jermaine Waller is not available today for the Hokies.
2 straight incompletions brings up a 3rd and 10. King takes the snap, looking to his left side. But there's Gerard Hewitt wrestling him down, and Norrell Pollard came in to back him up. A quarterback sack by Gerard Hewitt will bring up 4th down and forever for the Miami Hurricanes.
What a play from Gerard Hewitt. His 2nd sack of the day. You know, he has struggled at points in the season, and there he's able to get by Miami's center, Corey Gaynor, and bring down De'Ara King, his 2nd sack of the day, and he's wearing the 25 uniform. It's an honor to wear that each week. Coach Fuente selects one player to honor Coach Frank Beamer, and Miami forced a punt.
Lou Headley, the Australian punter for the Hurricanes, on to punt. He has 9 pins inside the 20-yard line so far this season. And this one will be looked to be a fair catch by Raheem Blackshear. Apparently not, as the Miami Hurricanes came in and to Corey Couch decking Blackshear as soon as he made that catch.
And again, Raheem Blackshear has been the guy returning punts today for Virginia Tech. That's different from how it's been this season. Tavion Robinson took over the punt returning duties last year. He's muffed 3 punts this year, including a costly one last week against Liberty. So it's Blackshear who is back there returning punts for Virginia Tech.
Well, Hendon Hooker and company will take over at the 26-yard line. It will be a handoff to Khalil Herbert. Herbert to the right side will gain about 4 yards to the 30-yard line. Herbert only saw 2 touches in the first half. He'll gain about 5 yards. They'll give him 4, 2nd down and 6.
And it's not going to be a typical day for Khalil Herbert, someone who can touch the football up to 15, 20 times per game, but he's getting enough touches to make a difference.
Will be 2nd down and 6 from the Virginia Tech 30. 14-13, Virginia Tech leads. This one's going to be a quarterback keeper for Hendon Hooker. Gains the 1st down marker, fighting to about the 40-yard line. 1st down, Hokies.
Great decision there from Hooker. You know, both quarterbacks really utilizing the RPO here to perfection. Sometimes it's the run-pass option. Sometimes it's the read option. That's all Hendon Hooker there. Watching the defensive ends, Quincy Roche bit. He kept it outside, picks up 1st down yardage.
Hendon Hooker, 10 passes on the day, 9 rushing attempts. A pretty even balance for the Virginia Tech quarterback. He'll take the snap, fakes the handoff to Herbert. Looking over the middle, a bobbled pass, incomplete. Bobbling it and not able to come up with the catch was Drake Dulius, the tight end for Virginia Tech. 2nd down and 10. That was almost a spectacular catch by Dulius, just couldn't come up with it.
Miami's defensive coordinator, Blake Baker, dialed up the cornerback blitz. That left the middle of the field wide open. If Dulius hauls that in, it's a 30-yard reception. Instead, he drops it, bringing up 2nd and 10.
Dulius will remain on the field for the 2nd down and 10 play. Virginia Tech on the 40-yard line. 2 receivers to Hooker's right and Herbert to his immediate left. Hooker drawing up some audibles. Herbert now to the left side, and Hooker will keep it himself, dodging a few Hurricanes. A Hurricane loses a helmet. That's going to be number 26 in Gervin Hall Jr. Hooker's going to gain around 5. Will bring up 3rd down and 5 with 12 minutes remaining in this 3rd quarter.
Now, that play call is just a simple quarterback power. Motion Herbert out. He lines up as a receiver. Hooker just takes that snap and says, I'm going to do this myself, and he picks up 5 yards. As you said, when he collides with the linebacking core there, Miami, helmet comes off. So a very physical run there for Hendon Hooker.
Gervin Hall Jr. losing his helmet. He'll have to come off the field for one play. 3rd down and 5 for Virginia Tech on the 45. They need to get into Miami territory to gain the first down. Hooker's going to have it bunched up on the offensive line. Hooker over the middle, got his man in Tavion Robinson. He's made a lot of big plays for Virginia Tech so far. Virginia Tech 1st down and 10 in Miami territory.
That's his 4th reception of the day. Robinson averaging nearly 10 yards a catch, and that's just a simple 5-yard curl route there, right at the first down marker. Knew where he needed to get to pick up the first down yardage.
This one's going to be a handoff to Khalil Herbert. Up the middle, wrestling with a couple of Hurricanes, but it looked like he gained the first down marker. And that's one thing special about Herbert. He'll be hit by a defender about 2 to 3 yards before where he's going to eventually end up.
And a great job there from the offensive line. Brock Hoffman able to open things up there in the running game.
Hooker to the right side. He'll take it himself, high-stepping before being pushed out of bounds by Jalen Phillips.
Now the Hokies almost copying the Hurricanes in this no-huddle offense. Not even enough time to catch your breath here before they're snapping the play.
Very fast pace, and it looks like they're finally going to take some time to huddle. Quincy Roche looking, frankly, a bit out of breath from the fast-paced momentum of Virginia Tech. 10 minutes 45 to play, 2nd down and 4. Hooker's going to send Blackshear to the left side, and it will go to Blackshear on the screen. Blackshear breaks a tackle, gets to the 29-yard line, a yard short of the first down marker. It'll be 3rd and 1. 10:30 to play. Virginia Tech looking to add on to their 1-point lead.
Gervin Hall Jr. has been all over the place today for the Hurricanes. Safety in on the stop.
And Quincy Patterson jumping in at quarterback for Virginia Tech, wearing number 4. He has only played a little bit, including their season opener against NC State. Haven't seen much of him since, but he will be the quarterback for Virginia Tech on 3rd and 1. Patterson, a quarterback keeper, gains a few yards and more, got to the 20-yard line. A beautiful run by Patterson on his first play in at the quarterback position. 1st and 10, Virginia Tech.
Hasn't played since the opening game against North Carolina State. Everybody in the stadium knows what's coming. It's quarterback power, and still Patterson with over 10 yards on that run.
Hooker back in the game, Patterson in for that one quarterback design run. 10 minutes left to play in the 3rd quarter. 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line. Virginia Tech in the red zone. 2 receivers to the right side of Hooker with Holston to his left. Holston will get the handoff, get some pressure, but Holston breaks a few tackles inside the 10, inside the 5. Did he get there? They're going to mark him out of bounds. Jalen Holston to the 1-yard line. 1st and goal, Virginia Tech.
You know, the saying in football is next man up mentality. Herbert not getting a lot of touches. What a day for Holston.
The snap. Holston's going to get it right back to the left side. Dives. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. Reached out his left hand, crossing the goal line, and Virginia Tech on the scoreboard again.
Jalen Holston, what a spark he has provided today for Virginia Tech in the running game. We all expected Raheem Blackshear to be the recipient of more touches with Khalil Herbert banged up, but it's been Jalen Holston. 2 touchdowns on the day, and what a spark he has provided. He's a power, physical runner, battled injury last year, and he is making a statement today for the Hokies.
A substitution infraction on Miami will obviously be declined by Justin Fuente for the touchdown. On to kick the extra point will be Brian Johnson. It currently stands at 20-13, 21 if the PAT is good. But hold on a second as our head referee and Jeff Flanagan comes out and says, hang on, we want to take a look at this. From the replay, it did look like Holston's left elbow could have been down before he crossed the goal line. We'll take another look. And I don't think he was. I think that is going to be a touchdown for Virginia Tech.
Now we have the luxury of looking at a replay here, and Holston right elbow does come down. The question is, did he reach across with enough time? He's got the ball in his left hand, and he's extending it over his head with his right elbow on the ground. It's very close. So far in the replay, doesn't look like anything that's going to overturn it, but it is close.
The best angle of that play is being blocked by DJ Ivey, the defender for Miami. But like you said, we've seen a replay earlier in this game with that tipped pass that could have been pass interference. It was pass interference on Miami that stood because of inconclusive evidence. We could see the same thing here. Remember, ruling confirmed means there was evidence that the play should stand, but play stands current just means there is no evidence to overturn. Therefore, it's going to stay with what we said in the moment, and that right now is a touchdown for Jalen Holston and the Virginia Tech Hokies.
A redshirt junior from Stockbridge, Georgia. I mean, what a day he's had.
And it looks like we're going to get our decision. Jeff Flanagan comes out, and the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. Jalen Holston came into this game 0 touchdowns on the day. He has 2 of Virginia Tech's 3.
I mean, look at the numbers this year. He returned a kickoff against Wake Forest, had 12 rushing yards against North Carolina, tackle on special teams at Duke. Again, he really hasn't gotten his opportunity to shine. Today he gets it, and wow, he's really making the most of it.
Johnson on to kick the extra point. Bradburn going to be the holder. The kick by Johnson is up, slightly to the left, but good. 21-13, an 8-point lead for the Virginia Tech Hokies when they kick it off to De'Aaron King and the Miami Hurricanes. A flag on the play is going to be declined as a offsides against the Miami Hurricanes. With 9:30 to play, Virginia Tech leads 21-13. We'll be back on 3304 Sports. Welcome back inside our remote broadcast booth in Blacksburg, Virginia. Tyler Katz joined alongside Evan Hughes for 3304 Sports. Virginia Tech just scoring a touchdown on a Jalen Holston 1-yard run to take an even bigger lead. 21-13 is what it now stands against the number 9 Miami Hurricanes.
Jalen Holston, what a day. I mean, not Khalil Herbert, not Raheem Blackshear, but the third-string running back, Jalen Holston, who's really providing a spark in the running game, and I think really taking some pressure off of Hendon Hooker to be the guy, the focal point in the running game for Virginia Tech. And listen, Miami got the ball to start the second half and punted. Virginia Tech then came out and scored. Was expecting Miami to carry that momentum from the first half to the second half.
John Parker Romo's kickoff goes through the end zone for a touchback. Miami will set up at the 25-yard line. Their last drive stalled and had to eventually punt after a huge sack by Gerard Hewitt that took De'Aaron King down. We'll see how King recovers after that. King, the transfer out of Houston, originally from Manville, Texas, taking over for the Miami Hurricanes in South Florida. Harley on the motion. King steps back to pass, looking deep down the left side. Diving try, but an incomplete pass intended for Brevin Jordan, the tight end, just coming back for the Miami Hurricanes after a shoulder injury versus Clemson a few weeks ago.
Illinois State transfer Devin Taylor in coverage. They moved him from cornerback to safety earlier in the season. Again, no Jermaine Waller today. The Hokies a little depleted in the secondary. They've come up big on the deep passes early today.
Will it be 2nd down and 10 following the incompletion for the Miami Hurricanes? King has one receiver to his right side. He's going to look back to pass. Doesn't have a man. There was some quarterback pressure by Justice Reed and Chamari Connor. An incompletion, and I believe that is 4 straight incompletions by De'Aaron King.
Yeah, Justice Reed, the graduate transfer from Youngstown State, just blows right by Jared Williams and DJ Skyfy Jr. and immediately is in the backfield. All De'Aaron King could do there was throw the ball away.
3rd down and 10 for the Hurricanes. 9:15 to play in the third quarter, and the Virginia Tech Hokies with an 8-point lead over these Hurricanes. Ball's on the left hash. King's going to have 3 receivers to his left. 3 for 4 on 3rd down for De'Aaron King through the air, but he's going to be taken down again by Gerard Hewitt and Dax Hollifield. Both of them came together, and the Virginia Tech bench is fired up. Another huge sack on 3rd down. 4th sack of the day for Virginia Tech.
Dax Hollifield, a delayed blitz. He starts on the outside, waits, and then picks his moment. He rushes right up the middle, and nobody picks him up. It's Hewitt, but mainly Hollifield there to bring him down, and you mentioned it, Tyler. Bench is fired up.
That will bring back on the Australian punter in Lou Headley. And it looks like this one will be returned by Blackshear. Blackshear up to the 45, past the 50. A great return by Raheem Blackshear. He dives into the Virginia Tech bench before getting up. And it looks like a bit of extracurricular on the Virginia Tech sideline.
Yes, Blackshear is taken out of bounds. It looks like a tackle started inbounds, continued out of play. No flag.
Well, Virginia Tech will take the ball yet again after the Lou Headley punt. They look to extend on their 8-point lead when we return on 3304 Sports. Welcome back inside our remote broadcast booth in Blacksburg, Virginia. Just a few miles away in Lane Stadium, Virginia Tech has an 8-point lead trying to extend it. They just got the ball back from a Lou Headley punt on identical drives for the Miami Hurricanes, 2 to Eric King incompletions. A huge sack, one of 10 yards and one of 7 yards respectively, both of which Gerard Hewitt was in on. The second one, Dax Hollifield, the main tackler. And then a Lou Headley punt. And a great return by Raheem Blackshear gets Virginia Tech to start in Miami territory on the 49-yard line. Hendon Hooker will have Herbert to his right side and one receiver to his left, and it will be a pitch to Khalil Herbert. Herbert's got some space, spins for the first down. In on the tackle for the Miami Hurricanes was Bubba Bolden. Bolden, a huge asset for the Hurricanes so far this season, has had almost 36 tackles for a loss so far. Hasn't had that big of a role in today's game, but making the stop on Khalil Herbert. First down and 10 after the Herbert run on the 36-yard line. And it looks like it will be the Hooker-Herbert battery again right in the shotgun. Hooker steps back to pass, looking to his left side. Wide open man, and Trey Turner tries to stay in bounds. He couldn't. They're going to mark him out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Trey Turner just wide open. I don't know where the Miami defenders were.
Wide open, and it's the play fake there that Hendon Hooker sells that frees up Trey Turner. Nearly had 100 receiving yards last week against Liberty. A little bit of a slow start to the year for Trey Turner. That's a big-time catch. Hokies in the red zone.
3 receivers to Hooker's right, and it will be Herbert to his left. The handoff to Herbert. Around the right side, Herbert won't go anywhere, going to the 15-yard line. In on the stop is Bradley Jennings Jr. for the Miami Hurricanes. 7:15 to go, and still second down and 10 for Virginia Tech, following the run of no gain by Khalil Herbert. One receiver to the left side of Hendon Hooker. To the right stands Khalil Herbert, who's been in the game a lot more so far. Hooker to the left side, a lob pass, and no one was there. He was looking end zone. Trey Turner was still on the 3-yard line, his intended receiver on the play. So that will bring up third down and 10 with just under 7 to play. Virginia Tech is in field goal range to make this a 2-possession game. Their lead currently stands at 8. Third and 10 for Virginia Tech on the 15-yard line. 2 receivers to the left. Hooker's going to look to the sideline for an audible. 1 receiver to the right. Everybody's looking over at Justin Fuente and the coaching staff on the sideline. Hooker now ready. Takes a snap at the 20-yard line. Back. He's under pressure, and he's going to be taken down. Number 21, Bubba Bolden. A huge play, his 2nd sack of the season.
As well as Gilbert Frierson, the striker who was earlier taken out due to an injury, comes back in. What a big-time play from Miami, forces a longer Brian Johnson field goal attempt.
Brian Johnson will attempt a 38-yard field goal attempt. He's been pretty consistent from inside the 40 this season. Johnson, a little to the left side, but nonetheless it goes through the uprights. 24-13, Virginia Tech extends their lead to 11 points. It's now a 2-possession game. The Miami Hurricanes will get the ball back, a scoring drive of 6 plays, 28 yards. They got the ball on the 49-yard line of Miami after the punt return, and then the field goal by Brian Johnson. The Hurricanes will get the ball back when they have to tackle an 11-point deficit when we return on 3304 Sports. Welcome back inside our remote broadcast booth. Tyler Katz joined alongside Evan Hughes. Brian Johnson just drilled a 38-yard field goal to extend the Virginia Tech lead to 11, 24-13 over the number 9 Miami Hurricanes. John Parker Romo boots it away from the 35-yard line. It will go into the end zone, through the end zone for a touchback. And for the third time this half, Miami will set up on their own 25-yard line. Both drives so far have stalled.
I think this is where you see Miami really play their best offensively. Their backs against the wall. Let's not forget last week against North Carolina State, down 10 going into the fourth quarter, and they score 10 unanswered, win 44-41. They're going to let De'Aaron King, I think, do his thing through the air a little bit more. I think they tried too hard to establish Cameron Harris early. I expect to see De'Aaron King, and more De'Aaron King on this drive.
Lashley said he didn't want King to control the UM running game, but that's maybe what you need. King's going to throw a pass that falls incomplete, intended for Jeremiah Payton, and that's 5 straight incompletions for De'Aaron King. Their passing game just has not been working.
It hasn't. I think they've taken a little too many deep shots down the field, but Virginia Tech right now, their linebackers are playing well in pass coverage, and I think that's part of the reason why they have struggled here as of late through the air.
It will be second down and 10 with 6:09 to play. Virginia Tech with that 11-point lead. King getting some audibles from Lashley, their offensive coordinator, and Manny Diaz, their head coach in just his second season. 2 receivers lines up to King's left. Now Harley is going to go to the right side. Looking over the middle, King passing, got his man in Mark Pope. The junior out of Southridge High School in Miami gets the first down. And finally, Miami seems to have done something on offense as King will take the snap. He's going to look to pass, looking left, now looking right, over to the right side. Has his man again. That's going to be number 12 in Jeremiah Payton. There is a flag down on the play, and that came almost immediately after King took the snap.
Dorian Strong was in coverage, the freshman there.
And we'll get the call from Jeff Flanagan, and it is offsides against Virginia Tech, and that will be accepted. So instead of second down and 2, it will be first down and 5. So I think just taking the down instead of the distance.
And I believe that is the first penalty of the game committed by Virginia Tech. Late in the second quarter, they had yet to commit a penalty. It's been a very clean game for the Hokies, as well as the Hurricanes. Not many flags thrown today.
5 penalties, 46 yards for the Hurricanes. That was the first penalty on Virginia Tech, only 5 yards for them. It will be a handoff that will be Cameron Harris, taken down by Dax Hollifield. It will be second down and 1 with 5 minutes and 20 seconds to play in this third quarter. Second and 1, Virginia Tech not having a lot of success stopping Miami on short yardage down and distance. It will be Cameron Harris getting the handoff again, this time gaining the first down into Virginia Tech territory. They'll line up on the 48-yard line. No huddle again for the Miami Hurricanes. Just under 5 now to play in the third. King steps back to pass, looking left, has always been looking left, and has got a man wide open. And that will be number 8 in D. Wiggins. We've been saying his name a lot today. Jamari Connor will push him out of bounds. First down, Miami.
When you think about Miami's offensive threats, you think about Michael Harley, Mark Pope, you think about Brevin Jordan, but it's been D. Wiggins, the guy on the outside today that's made the biggest difference for the Canes.
3 receivers in a triangle formation. King looking to go there, but he was going to be taken down. A host of Hokies in on the play, including Norrell Pollard and Justice Reed, the graduate transfer. And it looked like also Rayshard Ashby getting in on the action. It looked like that Virginia Tech defensive line was all getting to King at around the same time. Ashby got the contact first, and then Reed and Pollard tag teaming to take down De'Aaron King.
The linebacking core of Virginia Tech has been the difference in this game for me. Rayshard Ashby, Dax Hollifield have struggled. They've played really well thus far.
Oh, it's going to be a pitch. This one's going to be Jalen Knighton. Knighton has a bit of room. He'll get to the 29-yard line of Virginia Tech. It will be third down and around 10. That was a gain of about 7 yards on the handoff or the pitch to Knighton. It will be third down and 9. 3:40 to go. Miami into Virginia Tech territory. Lining up at the 30-yard line. They need to get to the 21. 2 receivers to King's right, 1 to his left, has a running back to his back right. Now looking over to Manny Diaz. The defensive-minded head coach for Miami was the former defensive coordinator before taking the job at head coach. King will take the snap. Looking left side, has his man, didn't seem to get that first down marker. D. Wiggins again.
What a great catch from Wiggins. Physical tackle there from Devin Taylor, the safety, coming up. And we'll wait to see here if they move the chains.
And they did move the chains already. King ready to take the snap, but now coming in to stop the clock is back judge Jaquez Hooper, ready to review the play. From our perspective, it seemed like he was short of the line, seeing the yellow line marked by the ESPN broadcast, as he was just stuffed by Breon Murray.
Now, it was Breon Murray. My apologies, not Devin Taylor. Excellent coverage there from Murray. Gave him 5 yards, a slant. He comes forward, and a very physical tackle that looks to be the difference between a first down and 4th and inches. Tyler, by our vantage point, I think he's short by a half yard.
And again, they did mark him as a first down initially. They did move the chain, so this would need to be conclusive evidence to make it a 4th down and 1 for the Miami Hurricanes.
And that would be, an interesting decision at this point in the game. 3 minutes to go, third quarter. If you're Manny Diaz, you've got a kicker in Borregales who's basically automatic. You could get within a possession, or do you trust your redshirt senior, D.R. King, to go out there and get you a half yard?
Well, Miami trying to get a win to keep their ACC championship hopes alive. They currently do not control their own destiny. Head coach Manny Diaz said to go 1-0 this week, and that's the mentality that Miami is facing. And we are going to get our decision from Jeff Flanagan and company. And it looks like that pass will be short of the line. The call is reversed. It will be 4th down and 1 for the Miami Hurricanes. 3 minutes, 1 second remain in the third quarter of 4. 4th and 1, Miami trying to get on the scoreboard to make this a one-possession game again. Virginia Tech currently leading by 11.
That was basically a timeout there for Manny Diaz to talk with his offense. He's leaving D.R. King on the field.
And it looks like they will go for it. It is basically 4th and inches. It looks to be the the 21.5 yard line and the 21. It will be Cameron Harris going right up the middle for the first down. Dax Hollifield taking him down. First down and 10. Miami will get a new set of downs inside the red zone now, and the Hurricanes are knocking at the door.
They absolutely are. They're running the football well, and not good news for Virginia Tech to see Divine Diablo, one of their captains, on the ground. Mike Goforth rushes out to help him up. He'll walk off under his own power. This is a Virginia Tech secondary that does not have Jermaine Waller, one of the best ACC cornerbacks when he's available, and now you don't have Divine Diablo, so that secondary is getting thinner and thinner as this game continues on.
Diablo, an interception just 2 weeks ago when they played the Louisville Cardinals. 10 tackles against the Liberty Flames last week, a huge part of this Virginia Tech team. Miami will set up 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line. It's currently 24-13 with 2:30 to play. De'Aaron King to the left side. Hollifield can't get there, but Breon Murray will shove him out of bounds. It will be 2nd down and short after the quarterback keeper by De'Aaron King.
Yeah, De'Aaron King on the ground hasn't done much today, just 46 yards of 14 attempts. He was over the century mark last week against the Wolfpack.
King will hand it off again. This looks to be Jalen Knighton, and it is. No gain on the play. He stayed around that line of scrimmage at the 13-yard line. Will bring up 3rd down and 3. Clock ticking closer to the 2-minute mark of the third quarter.
Hot pursuit there. Eli Adams, the redshirt sophomore, as well as Jalen Griffin on the defensive line. 3rd down here, but the Canes have been really good today at converting in these short yard situations.
Not so great at 3rd downs. They're 4 for 12 on the day. It will be 3rd and 3 on the 13. 3 receivers to the left side for King. He'll find one of them, and that will be a pass over to number 85 and Will Mallory, the backup tight end for the Miami Hurricanes. That will set up 1st and goal.
You know, so much of what Miami does is so simple. RPOs, throw over the flat, very easy pitch and catch.
King, handoff to Cameron Harris. Harris dives into the end zone. Touchdown, the U. And now it's just a one-score game yet again. Miami needed that touchdown.
They absolutely did. A very, very strong answer from the Hurricanes after going down 2 possessions for the first time today. Cameron Harris has been held in check the last couple of weeks there. An excellent run, able to shake off a couple of defenders into the goal line, into the end zone. Good run, good drive, and Miami's going to go for 2.
Yeah, they're going to try to make this a field goal game. It's currently 24-19. King, back to pass, has 4 receivers on the right. He'll instead go to the left. Got a big man in number 60 before being pushed out by Dax Hollifield. Did not get there. And that's going to be Zion Nelson, the offensive lineman for the Miami Hurricanes.
I absolutely love the play call from Rhett Lashley. Roll King out wide right, and then drop a lineman back far side of the field. But Virginia Tech stayed home. Dax Hollifield stayed home there. And typically when you see those plays, it's a walk-in conversion or a touchdown. But there, Virginia Tech had 2 defenders waiting for it, and unfortunately, Nelson not quite the speed needed there when he caught on the 5-yard line to get by Dax Hollifield.
Dax Hollifield just dodging around a couple of the Miami offensive linemen. One of them was supposed to be there to block. They did block one Hokie, but couldn't block Hollifield with the push out of bounds. There is a flag on the play, a flag on the play itself. So we'll see what the penalty is on the 2-point conversion attempt. And it is an illegal substitution. No indication on who it's on, if it's Virginia Tech. And it looks like that penalty is declined, so it had to have been against Miami. So Virginia Tech declines the illegal substitution. It remains a 5-point game, 24-19 on De'Aaron King's completion to an offensive lineman that just did not work out.
So think about 2 moments in this game. First drive for Miami, Jose Borregales lines up for a 47-yard field goal, well within his range. They fake it, a pitch to Borregales from the holder in Headley. They were short. There, they decided to go for 2 and come away with no points. So you're looking at potentially 4 points there if you kick the extra point off the board for Miami. And so you wonder that fake field goal and then going for 2 there, will that come back to haunt Miami later in this game?
Borregales is set to kick it back to Virginia Tech following the touchdown run by Cameron Harris. The boot into the end zone and through the end zone in between the R and G in Virginia Tech. So Virginia Tech will take over, you don't necessarily need an answer. It's a 5-point game, but with Miami adding pressure, what's the game plan heading into this drive for Virginia Tech?
For me, it's keep it on the ground with Hendon Hooker and Jalen Holston. They've run the ball well today. Take some time off the clock here and try and not only score points, but again, take time off the clock.
Hendon Hooker will set up on the 25-yard line, has 2 receivers to his left, and it looks like Raheem Blackshear standing to his immediate left. Hooker is going to pitch it to Blackshear. Blackshear needs to get around a couple of Hurricanes, and he does, but not able to get positive yardage. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10, a minute 15 to go in this 3rd quarter.
Credit Miami's defensive line there. Quincy Roche was there immediately at the line of scrimmage, coming off the defensive line there. Good tackle. Miami's D-line has been tough to deal with all day for this Virginia Tech offense.
60 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Hooker back to pass. Under pressure. A huge, aggressive sack by the Miami Hurricanes. Sam Brooks Jr. in on the sack, as well as DJ Ivey.
And Jalen Phillips as well. A trio of Hurricanes swarming Hooker in the pocket. Phillips has been a monster today for Miami. And how about the play of Sam Brooks Jr.? Because we knew going into this game, we found out this morning that Zach McLeod would not be available to play, one of the best linebackers for Miami, and we have really seen Sam Brooks step up today for the U.
It will be first down and 10. I'm not sure how that happened after a big sack. It looked to be the only thing that could have happened was a penalty. It did look like Jalen Phillips went off the field, so that could have been a penalty on Phillips. Hooker's going to take the keeper to the left side.
And there was a penalty. There was a personal foul on Bubba Baker on the play. So the sack was negated. The penalty resulted in a first down. So it is indeed 2nd and 8. That's a big blow there for Miami with some momentum after that sack.
And we apologize for not seeing that at first. It's going to be 2nd down and 8 for Virginia Tech. Bubba Bolden standing on the sideline, who that penalty was called on. Hooker claps his hands once, now looking over at the game clock, which stands at 4, 3, 2, 1, and as they say down south in Coral Gables, 4's up. Virginia Tech, a 5-point lead heading into the 4th and final quarter when we return on 3304 Sports. Start of the 4th quarter from Lane Stadium, where Virginia Tech has the ball and a 5-point lead against the number 9 team in the country, the Miami Hurricanes, whose lone loss this season comes to the number 1 team in the country at the time, the Clemson Tigers. Will begin play, and immediately going to be a quarterback keeper by Hendon Hooker. Tried to go through the air before being taken down by Gilbert Frierson. The first play of the 4th quarter starts off well for the Miami Hurricanes, stopping Hendon Hooker. 24-19, Virginia Tech, 3rd down and 7, as Hendon Hooker will step back up to the line. In the shotgun, 2 receivers on both sides of the offensive line for Virginia Tech. No running backs in the backfield. Hendon Hooker looking over to the sideline at the offensive coordinator in Brad Cornelson. Hooker now ready to take the snap. Looks like Miami's getting a little bit antsy on the defensive line. Hooker takes the snap, looking to the left side, has a man, Jalen Holston, as a receiver, makes the catch. A gain of around 8 yards. That's going to be enough for the first down.
How about Jalen Holston there? He caught it there in the flat, then he cut back and spun forward for another 5 yards or so. Athletic play for Holston, who's having himself a career day.
Al Blades Jr. in on the stop. A graduate of St. Thomas, which is a perennial powerhouse in South Florida, drawing a lot of kids to the Miami program. Hooker on 1st and 10, around midfield, looking to the right side is Hooker. Nobody was there. A flag in on the play, and throwing his hands up wondering what he did wrong is DJ Ivy. There was no Virginia Tech receiver from the camera angle. You can only assume that they were just outside, and it is going to be pass interference against the Miami Hurricanes and number 8 in DJ Ivy. Manny Diaz pleading his case with the officials.
Well, what he's pleading his case is, first of all, it's an RPO, and he's pleading his case that the ball that Hendon Hooker threw was uncatchable. He's looking for Caleb Smith, one-on-one coverage, far side of the field, and actually Smith got pushed down by Ivy. That's why it was uncatchable. So I think Manny Diaz saying even though he got pushed down, how can that be pass interference when it's 15 yards over his head? But he was taken to the ground.
So nonetheless, it is going to be 1st and 10 following the pass interference call. Hooker's going to have 2 receivers to his left, but he's going to hand it off to his running back in Khalil Herbert, being taken down by number 96 and Jonathan Ford.
So there's 13 and a half minutes to play. Notice how Virginia Tech not going, no huddle. They would love to score and take as much time off this clock as possible here before giving it back to Miami.
At the same time, bleeding the clock is what killed Virginia Tech last week against Liberty, not giving themselves enough time. So with around 13 minutes, it will be 2nd down and 9. 3 receivers to the left side for Virginia Tech. Hooker's going to take the snap, fake handoff to Khalil Herbert. Hooker, the screen. He's going to find Nick Gallo. Gallo's going to gain 3 yards to Corey Couch, taking him down. Going to be 3rd down and approximately 7 for Virginia Tech.
As Corey Couch did a nice job there of just patiently waiting and waiting. That play took a little longer to develop. He was right there to knock down Herbert there. Only a gain of 3. Typically on those screen plays, it's plays that you can pick up 5, 10, 15 yards. Well done there from Miami defensively.
It will be on the Miami 38-yard line. 37. Hooker's going to take it himself. He will be knocked down right at where ESPN is drawing the field goal target line. It's a loss of 1. Nesta Jade Silvera, the junior for Miami, taking him down. Went to high school with star running back for Virginia Tech, Khalil Herbert, so a bit of connection between those two, but it's a loss of 1 regardless on Hendon Hooker.
Not to mention, too, Jalen Phillips also there. He has been all over the place. And there on third down there, a power run from Hooker. Now it's 4th and 7. Hokies are going to have to be forced to punt.
It was right on that target line with a missed field goal already from Johnson. Fuente is not going to take any risk, and it will be caught by Virginia Tech's number 44 in Dorian Strong at the 5-yard line. So pinning Miami at their own 5-yard line, they now have to drive 95 yards to score. They're down by 5 with 11:44 remaining in the fourth quarter when we return on 3304 Sports. Miami will start with the ball again. It will be first down and 10 from their 5-yard line after a down punt by Oscar Bradburn. They find themselves down by 5 points with 11 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. On the 5-yard line, 2 receivers on either side of De'Aaron King, as well as 2 running backs in front of De'Aaron King. And it looks like there was a jump. Almost every single Hokie on that defensive line was pointing to the offensive line of Miami, and indeed it will. So that's going to be half the distance to the goal since they are on the 5-yard line. Make it 1st and 12 and a half technically.
And the ball is spotted in between the 2 and the 3-yard line. This is where, as a defensive lineman, your eyes light up.
So 1st and 12 and a half. De'Aaron King looking right side. Pass incomplete. Pass going to be intended for Mark Pope, just out of bounds. Pope turning down offers from LSU, Alabama, Florida, Georgia. Really saw something special with the Miami Hurricanes program and joining them now to a number 9 position in the AP poll. That's in jeopardy, though, as they're down by 5 to an unranked Virginia Tech. 2nd and 12 and a half. Handoff to Cameron Harris, who will gain a few yards, get them past that 5-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and around 7 or 8. And it will be 3rd and 8 for the Miami Hurricanes. They are still pinned inside their own their own 10-yard line. 24-19, Virginia Tech leads, 11 minutes, 15 seconds. 3rd down and 8 on the Miami 8-yard line. Dax Hollifield trying to pump up the cardboard cutouts and the 1,000 fans in attendance at Lane Stadium. 2 receivers to De'Aaron King's left side. Couple receivers in motion, including Brevin Jordan now to the right side. 1 back, it looks like Cameron Harris standing behind. And it will be a screenplay to Cameron Harris, who drops the ball. Incomplete pass. Covered it up like it was a fumble. A smart play by Cameron Harris. But it's an incomplete pass, and 4th down and 8 inside the 10-yard line. A huge play for Virginia Tech to force Lou Headley to come on and kick from their own Miami end zone.
First of all, it's the perfect play call from Rhett Lashley. All Harris has to do is catch the football. He's going to run forward for 10 yards. That play came down to Justice Reed beating Jared Williams, the right tackle, immediately forcing Eric to throw that ball. And now Headley stands in his own end zone.
Headley from the N in Virginia Tech will boot it past midfield, and it will take a Miami bounce of about 2 yards down at the Virginia Tech 40. So Virginia Tech will get the ball back with around 11 minutes to play. And like we saw in that first drive, they're going to run the ball, not use the hurry up.
No question about it. And you think back to Justin Fuente's decision to not send Brian Johnson out there for what would have been a career long. Instead, bring Bradburn out. He pins you inside the 10. Now you get the football back at your own 40-yard line. So you play the field position game, and it works out there for the Hokies.
So Hendon Hooker and company will come back out onto the field for Virginia Tech at the 40-yard line. Hooker rolling to the right side. Throw over, tipped pass. Ball landed at around the 35-yard line on Miami's side of the field. Incomplete, bringing up 2nd down and 10. Hendon Hooker through the air has been pretty good so far. Not perfect, a few incompletions here or there, but the passing game has worked so far for Virginia Tech.
No, it really has, and he's been incredibly efficient today. Hendon Hooker, just 13 of 19 through the air. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Hooker will clap his hands once. As a receiver on either side, it will be a handoff to Tavion Robinson. Robinson, a gain of about 4 or 5, getting to the Virginia Tech 45-yard line. It will be 3rd down and medium.
Robinson started near side of the field, was motioned into the backfield. Then they brought him back in motion towards the near side of the field, handed it off to him. I like the creative play call there from Brad Cornelson, but this is 3rd and 5. With 10 minutes left in the game, these are the kind of plays that Virginia Tech needs to convert to keep their foot on the pedal. Miami desperately needs this stop.
It was Sam Brooks Jr. on the stop for the Miami Hurricanes. 3rd down and 5. Hooker has 2 receivers on either side of the offensive line. Hooker back to pass. A bit of pressure. Has to almost get rid of it, and he does. Just fires it towards Gallo. Incomplete.
Great pressure there. Great pursuit from a bunch of Miami defensive linemen, and have to look at Amari Carter, the safety as well, coming in. Looked like pressure was brought from every level of the defense from Blake Parker. And Hooker does a great job of evading multiple Hurricanes. He was eventually knocked down by DeCorey Couch, a cornerback. So they brought everybody there on that blitz, Tyler.
Nesta Jade Silvera almost had Hooker. He was running in from the defensive line. Couldn't make the stop, and it will be 4th down and 5. Manny Diaz on the field. Play clock is stopped. I believe, and yes, it was the athletic trainers for the Miami Hurricanes coming out to check on Nesta Jade Silvera. When we return, it will be 4th and 5 for the Virginia Tech Hokies on their own 45. They currently lead by 5 against the number 9 team in the country. 4th down and 5. Face Virginia Tech. 9 minutes and change to play in the 4th quarter. And now it's going to be Oscar Bradburn, the Australian punter for the Hokies, on the punt. It's going to be a fair catch at around the 18-yard line. Making the fair catch for the Miami Hurricanes was Gervin Hall Jr., usually on defense, out on special teams.
So both teams have kind of stalled here offensively, Tyler, in the second half. 3 consecutive punts the last 3 possessions of this game. Is this the drive that De'Aaron King gets a little bit more confidence in the passing game? Is this the drive that Miami finally takes the lead in this game?
Well, fans wearing orange and green certainly hope so. It's a 5-point game. A touchdown by itself gives the Hurricanes the lead. King will hand it off to Don Chaney Jr., and it will be a gain of around 9 yards. I don't think the Hokies were expecting Chaney to take the handoff, as I believe that's one of his few touches so far today. 2nd down and 1. It will be a handoff again to Don Chaney Jr. Rushes up for about a gain of 1.5, and that's enough for a 1st down to reset the chains. 1st down and 10. 9:08 clock stop to reset the chains. Miami trying to score again. They are currently down by 5. 1st down and 10 for De'Aaron King. King 5 for 12 in the second half. He struggled especially in that 3rd quarter. It'll be another handoff to Don Chaney Jr.
And Rayshard Ashby wraps him up, only a gain of a yard. But you mentioned it a moment ago how many touches he has. Chaney with 8 carries on the day, Jalen Knighton with 7, and Cameron Harris with 12. So Manny Diaz rotating through 3 running backs here offensively, and Rhett Lashley.
King under center, 2nd down and 8. They've been using the run game other than De'Aaron King so far this drive. They started on the 18. They now set up 2nd down and 8 at the 31 of the Hurricanes. King takes the snap. Looking to his right side, rolling right. He'll take it himself and be met. Just a quick trip by Virginia Tech. Devin Taylor on the stop for the Hokies. They'll bring up 3rd down and 1. Miami has been excellent in getting these short 1-2 yard pickups. And indeed they will again, as it's going to be Don Chaney Jr. yet again getting the the ball, the carry, and the first down.
So with under 8 minutes to play, of course, Miami, all 3 timeouts, still plenty of time to operate how they want. This is a big drive defensively now for Virginia Tech to try and get the ball back to their offense. A little bit more than 4 minutes left in this game.
King takes the snap, hands off to Don Chaney Jr. Gain of around 5 for Chaney. It looks like Dax Hollifield in on the stop. Second down and around 5. He got halfway in between the sticks. 7:30, and it's only a gain of 3, second down and 7. So it's still in Miami territory. They need to get into Virginia Tech territory to the 46-yard line to reset the chains. 2 receivers on either side of the offensive line for De'Aaron King and the Miami Hurricanes. Looking to his left side, it's going to be a screen to Michael Harley. Harley breaking a couple of tackles, gets stopped just shy of the first down marker, but it looks like they are going to give him a first down inside Virginia Tech territory.
So much of Miami's offense, RPOs, bubble screens, slants, very simple on offense, but they do it so well and they mix it up so well. It's so effective.
So they will indeed give Miami the first down. It will be 1st and 10 on the Virginia Tech 46. Fake handoff to Cameron Harris. Instead, it's going to be a pass completion to D. Wiggins. We've been saying his name a lot today.
D. Wiggins having himself a day. Again, when we think about this Miami offense moving forward, yes, we'll mention Harley. Yes, we'll mention Pope. Yes, we'll mention Brevin Jordan. But D. Wiggins needs to have his name included as one of the best threats on this offense.
Now inside Virginia Tech territory, it's going to be a handoff to Cameron Harris. Harris takes a bunny hop before tripping and falling down. Rayshard Ashby was ready to make a tackle regardless. 6.5 minutes to play, second down and 10 as he got back to the line of scrimmage. Cameron Harris getting a few more touches than he's typically used to in a game, especially in this second half after De'Aaron King failed to complete passes at the start of the second half. Second down and 10. De'Aaron King will have Chaney to his left side. Fakes the handoff to Chaney. Instead, he has Mark Pope. Touchdown Miami right over the middle on the slant route. Mark Pope Jr. into the end zone. Touchdown Hurricanes.
Just said it a moment ago. RPOs, slants, bubble screens. There's the slant. Pope with breakaway speed. A dart over the middle from De'Aaron King. Dax Hollifield, the middle linebacker, bit on the RPO run up the middle. That freed up the middle of the field, and Pope got the angle he was looking for. Easy pitch and catch. Hurricanes on top.
And indeed, they will try for the 2-point conversion to make this a 3-point game. The Hurricanes have taken the lead regardless, 25-24. King will step back to pass, looking to the right side. In a deflection by Dax Hollifield. Don Chaney Jr. down facing the turf. I just think more out of disappointment. It looked for a second that he could have been injured, but gets up, runs off the field on his own power. But the Miami Hurricanes reclaim the lead, 25-24, with just under 6 to go. The Hokies will get the ball back to try and take the lead right back when we return on 3304 Sports. Welcome back, Tyler Katz alongside Evan Hughes for 3304 Sports. Just moments ago, Miami scoring a touchdown to retake the lead. 2-point conversion was failed on the 36-yard completion to Mark Pope Jr. 25-24, Jose Borregales into the end zone for a touchback. Virginia Tech will get the ball back with 5 minutes and 59 seconds to play.
You know, one thing to keep in mind, as you mentioned, with just under 6 minutes left to play, Will Stewart pointing this out on Twitter in between the break, and that's it. Virginia Tech has had 2 drives over 3 minutes today. 4 minutes, 43 seconds, their longest drive of the game. 5:59 left. It's going to be interesting to see how much time they can take off the clock because they haven't really had long drives today.
And not only that, Miami is still controlling all 3 timeouts. Hooker takes the snap, fakes the pitch, looking deep over the middle. Far side intercepted to Corey Couch. Comes up with it. A huge interception by the sophomore out of Fort Lauderdale. And a turnover, the first one of the day by either side, and comes at a huge time for the Hurricanes.
And the first play of the drive, Hokies take a deep shot. Caleb Smith looked to turn in towards the middle of the field. Then he turns back out based off the throw. Hendon Hooker throwing into double coverage there. A rare mistake because Hooker doesn't turn the ball over that much. And that is a big-time play from Couch in Miami. They've got the lead. They've got great field position. All 3 timeouts. What a moment for the Hurricanes, who have been trailing in this game. And the turnover chain is out in Blacksburg.
The turnover chain makes its first appearance in Blacksburg as there's a tipped pass to Corey Couch on the interception, part of the private school revolution, I guess, in South Florida out of Chaminade Madonna Preparatory Academy. It used to be all public schools playing for the Hurricanes back in the 80s, 90s. It's becoming more of a private school type system in South Florida. 5:48 to go. A incomplete pass by De'Aaron King will set up 2nd down and 10. King will line up with a receiver to his right side. The interception puts them on their own 40-yard line. King takes the snap, looking to his right side, under pressure, taken down. Justice Reed and Dax Hollifield, one on the left, one on the right, and trip him up.
Excellent pressure there, and what a day for Dax Hollifield. First time this season he's gone over double-digit tackles. There he is coming on the outside. He went right by the left tackle untouched, and nothing De'Aaron King could do there for Miami.
So a huge play, another sack for Virginia Tech. They've seemed to have been getting to De'Aaron King a lot. Of course, the left side of Miami's offensive line out of today's game. Inactive. That was announced prior to today's game. That will bring up 3rd down and 15 on the Miami 30-yard line. King steps back to pass, looking over to the left side where he will scramble. Dax Hollifield trips him up, and it will be a 4th down and 6. And now it's decision time for Manny Diaz. Still 5 minutes on the clock and a 1-score game, and they will indeed bring out Lou Headley.
They will bring out Lou Headley. You got the ball at your own 39-yard line. First of all, nice play there. Quarterback draw, about 12, 13 yards for De'Aaron King, and that's the thing. Even on 3rd and long, when he takes off, he still has that explosiveness to potentially pick up the 1st down yardage on his feet. How about Tech? Able to bounce back after the interception, get the football back.
Lou Headley, the Australian punter for the Hurricanes, counterpart of the Hokies Australian punter, so a couple of Aussies doing the punting duties. Both formerly played Australian football, and this punt will be a beauty for Lou Headley, being pinned inside the 10-yard line. At the 9, Virginia Tech will take over. That's
the 10th punt of the year for Hudley, where he's pinned it inside the 20-yard line. So here's an opportunity for Tech. Again, go back to what I was saying. You throw the interception. Hooker doesn't turn the ball over much. Your defense and Dax Hollifield step up. When you get punched in the gut, when adversity hits, about how will you be resilient? So Tech's got a chance now after the interception to really make amends, down by 1. What a game we've had here, Tyler, where defense has really been the story instead of offense for both sides.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite of what we started off this broadcast talking about. Hendon Hooker back to pass. He has his man in Trey Turner. Turner does a bit of a U-turn, fighting for yards, gains around 9 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and short. Now under 4 minutes. You mentioned that they had long drives. That interception almost helped Virginia Tech take time off the clock. Of course, they still find themselves down on the scoreboard. It will be a handoff to Khalil Herbert. Herbert's going to gain the 1st down and a little bit more, getting to the 25-yard line and just pushing a group of around 7 Hurricanes to gain more yards.
He had Gilbert Frierson on his back at the 25, and he just kept churning his legs forward. I don't know how. He had 4 Hurricanes on top of him. What a run from Herbert.
2 receivers will line up to the left side, 1 to the right, including Nick Gallo on that right side. Raheem Blackshear stands to the immediate right of Hendon Hooker. 3:15 to play, 1st and 10. Hooker back to pass, under pressure, and he will be taken down. Number 15 for the Miami Hurricanes. We've been saying his name a lot, Jalen Phillips.
What a game Jalen Phillips is having. If Miami wins this game, Jalen Phillips is one of the main reasons why. What a day he has had on defense for the Canes. He's been all over the field. 4 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks as well today for Miami.
There's a down Hokie on the field, and we'll take a break and come back, get you updated with the details on 3304 Sports. Welcome back to the action at Lane Stadium. Number 74, Doug Nestor, an offensive lineman for Virginia Tech, injured on the previous play. So the clock currently stands at around 3 minutes, and it's going to be a second down and long at 15. The ball is at the 23-yard line. Hendon Hooker back to pass, looking over the middle, and that one was almost intercepted in and out of the hands of Bradley Jennings Jr. Almost a second straight drive with an interception for Hendon Hooker.
And Hendon Hooker there, I don't know where he's looking, but Jennings Jr. is right in front of Tavion Robinson by 3 yards. I think he was maybe looking too far downfield, but that's one Jennings Jr. should have, Tyler. That's in his hands. Could not come away with it, and what a break the Hokies just got.
And this is a huge play now. Third down and 15, under 3 minutes, and the Hokies are still down by a point. 2:50 to play. Hooker slips, knee is down, and that is a really unfortunate series of events for Virginia Tech. Just seems like he lost his footing.
Wow, he slips. And, of course, in college, when you go down, you are down. You're right, Tyler. His right foot slips. Left knee hits the ground. Not a single Hurricane touched him. And now, for Justin Fuente, you're likely going to have to punt, and they will.
It was a 4th and 24, so here comes Oscar Bradburn to try and salvage something. And it was going to be a fair catch for the Miami Hurricanes by Gervin Hall Jr. So the Hurricanes will set up shop with 2 minutes and 13 seconds on their own 43-yard line, both teams with all 3 timeouts. And this is now crunch time. This is where the strategy of football really comes in.
Well, I'm sure Miami's likely going to run the football. They've got terrific field position, but this is a team that really doesn't go under center much. So expect to see a healthy dosage here of Cameron Harris and Donald Chaney Jr., who seems to be the power back of the 3 for the Hurricanes.
Well, again, 2:13 to play. It's going to be set up at the 43-yard line. It is Cameron Harris taking that first handoff. Gain of about 2 yards. Rayshard Ashby in on the stop, and here we're going to see the first of 3 timeouts by Virginia Tech, trying to salvage as much time as they can off that clock.
And here is the thing, Tyler. If Miami picks up a first down, that'll just about do it. Virginia Tech's in a spot where they have to stop the Hurricanes on 3 consecutive plays to try and get the ball back.
Well, last year in Miami Gardens also came down to the last drives of the game. Virginia Tech's final drive was a touchdown to take a 42-35 lead. Miami marched down the field with 5 seconds left and incompletion. They determined there was 1 second left. Another incompletion for the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes lost in a heartbreaker last year at home to the Hokies, 42-35, trying to get revenge in Blacksburg, Virginia. Will be second down and 8 for the Miami Hurricanes. Clock stands at 2:09 after the first timeout taken by the Virginia Tech Hokies. Ball's going to be at the 45-yard line of the Hurricanes. It's going to be a handoff to Don Chaney Jr. and Divine Diablo almost suplexing him, something you see in wrestling often, taking him down. It will be third down for the Miami Hurricanes, and the clock is stopped. Another timeout called by Justin Fuente. The Hokies have 1 timeout remaining.
And Divine Diablo might have just saved the game for Tech because Harris had gotten to the second level. That's a safety, and Diablo coming up to make the tackle. If he gets by Diablo, not only does he have the first down, he's got a bunch of daylight in front of him. That is a game-saving tackle there because he blew right by the defensive line on that run. 3rd and 5, and the game comes down to this play.
Well, there is no 2-minute warning in college football, but this is about as close as you can get to it. A timeout with 2 minutes and 4 seconds. The Miami Hurricanes, you can almost see from one of our camera angles the stress on Manny Diaz's face, Hendon Hooker's face. Like, anybody who they show on that camera has a stressed expression. 3rd down and 5. Miami has it on their own 48-yard line. They need to get to the 47 of Virginia Tech. 2:04, 3rd down and 5. 2 receivers to the right side, but De'Aaron King's going to take it himself, and he's going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage and taken down. Devin Taylor taking down De'Aaron King. 4th down, 1:59. Clock is stopped again. I believe it's another timeout by Virginia Tech that has not been confirmed yet, but it's highly likely that they've taken that 3rd timeout with 1:59. Devin Taylor, a huge stop.
First-year offensive coordinator Rhett Lashley said, I'm putting the ball in De'Aaron King's hands. This is a quarterback power, trying to find an angle to cut up field, and everybody on Virginia Tech moving to that side of the field. Defensive line was quick off the line. Linebackers were there. Divine Diablo, and then Devin Taylor, his counterpart in the secondary, is that safety comes up to make the stop. It's a loss of 3. So Tech's going to get the football back. No timeouts. And Brian Johnson, career long of 55 yards. A field goal would win it, Tyler.
You beat me to it, and that not only would a field goal win it, but Virginia Tech using that final timeout with 1:59 on the game clock. Lou Headley will come out for maybe one of the biggest punts of the season, trying to pin Virginia Tech back with no timeouts. You want as much yardage as you can between Virginia Tech and that field goal marker, or the field goal target line, I should say. Lou Headley on to punt yet again. It will be Raheem Blackshear waiting in the wings for Virginia Tech. Headley gets the long snap. Almost blocked by Virginia Tech, but not. And it will be a Miami bounce, a great Miami bounce, bouncing inside the 5-yard line to the 4-3 before finally being touched by DJ Ivey. It will be a 97-yard gap between the line of scrimmage and the goal line for Virginia Tech.
And for Brian Johnson to have a realistic chance, you're going to need to get the ball to at least the 40-yard line for him to have a chance. What a punt from Headley, though. That's why they say games are won with the 3 phases of football, right? Offense, defense, and special teams. This is a tall order for Virginia Tech offense that has struggled as of late against this Miami defense.
So Hendon Hooker stands inside the end zone. Need to watch for a safety if you're Hendon Hooker. He's under pressure by Silvera. Hooker fires. He's got Trey Turner past the 20-yard line and some room to breathe. The clock stops to reset the chains. 1:37. Virginia Tech 0-6 in their last 6 games against top 10 ranked opponents in the AP poll. Trey Turner with the huge catch. 2 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. Hooker takes the snap. Low snap over the middle. And I'm not sure the play was whistled dead. A flag on the play. And it looks to be a false start against the Virginia Tech Hokies. So backing up 5 yards from where Trey Turner got you, you still needed to gain a lot of yards regardless. This just adds one small speed bump in this journey.
It does stop the clock, give everybody a chance to breathe, but yes, it does back you up 5 yards. Again, Hokies out of timeouts.
So we're going to be looking at the sidelines a lot, whether people got out of bounds. We're inside 2 minutes in the 4th quarter, so the clock does stop when you run out of bounds as a receiver or running back. So it'll be 1st and 15. Clock is now running, 90 seconds remaining in regulation. Silvera right under as nose guard. 3 receivers to Hooker's left and a running back to his immediate right. Hooker, back to pass. He'll take it himself. He's going to be scrambling to the 25-yard line, stays in bounds. The clock keeps rolling. Not sure what the play was there for Hooker. 1:07, 2nd down and 6. You need to hurry up, and that's indeed what they do. 3 receivers to the left side. He'll instead go to the right. Got Jalen Holston, a gain of 3, steps out of bounds at the Virginia Tech 30.
Does a nice job there of finding Holston. He does a nice job of finding his spot and getting out of bounds. Clock stop, 59 seconds. You're at your own 30. You got to get about 35 more yards to have a shot for Brian Johnson.
Holston's 2nd reception of the day. He has 11 yards through the air, 36 on the ground. Has 2 touchdowns in Virginia Tech's column. 2 receivers to Hendon Hooker's left side. Clock stopped at 59 seconds, and it's 3rd and 3. Hendon Hooker, back to pass. He'll again take it himself. He'll gain the first down just barely before stepping out of bounds, 52 seconds. And I guarantee you, people wearing orange and maroon, as well as orange and green, have their heart rates up right now.
Absolutely. What a game between both teams, and it's been great from the first quarter to now, and kind of just for it to come down to the final possession of the game. It's been that good of a ball game.
Virginia Tech's last game against Liberty also came down to the final possession, except the final possession was controlled by the Flames, in which they kicked a game-winning field goal. First down and 10 on the Virginia Tech 33-yard line. 2 receivers to Hooker's left, 1 to his right. Hooker, back to pass, under pressure. It's going to be a screen pass to Khalil Herbert. Herbert dodges a tackle before being tackled right next to Manny Diaz on the Miami sideline. Gets out of bounds again, stops the clock with 44 seconds.
He wouldn't have been able to get out of bounds if it weren't for the block that Christian Darasaw had on the outside, freeing up Herbert for a couple extra yards, and that allowed him to get out of bounds. 44 seconds to go.
Ball at the 40-yard line of Virginia Tech. 3 receivers to the right side, and that's where Hooker will look, but he is going to be taken down. Gilbert Frierson, a huge stop. Clock is running at 30 seconds. Expect a hurry-up offense here. Not a spike because it's 3rd down and 10. 3 receivers to the right side. Hooker back to pass again, under pressure. Throw to the right side. Has his man number 89 in Drake Dulius. First down. That will stop the clock to reset the chains. 19 seconds to go. Expect a quick spike. 19 seconds, and this game's going to come down to the wire. Ball's placed at the 43-yard line of Virginia Tech, and indeed, Hooker fires it into the ground to stop the clock at 16 seconds on the clock.
So Virginia Tech, again, needs to get to at least the 40. That would be a 57-yarder. Brian Johnson's career long is 54 yards. So 55 yards, excuse me. So you need about 20 more yards here to give your guy a chance. You're out of timeout, so anything over the middle of first down, you got a chance to go and spike the football.
Any play for Virginia Tech would have to be out of bounds. Other than that, I don't know if you have enough time to get back to the line of scrimmage and run another play. 16 seconds, Brian Johnson getting ready, and a timeout will be called by the Miami Hurricanes. They want to talk this over, settle down their guys. Brian Johnson, a 55-yard long field goal. That was back earlier this season against another top 10 opponent at the time, the North Carolina Tar Heels.
And today, Brian Johnson has missed a field goal today. He missed from 54. He made a field goal from 38 yards, but you got to get there first. But anything, you could still throw a ball over the middle here for your Virginia Tech. You just have to hurry to the line. When the ball is spotted, spike the football. You probably have 2 plays, Tyler, to get the ball in field goal range for Brian Johnson with 16 seconds left.
The first play of this drive to Trey Turner was about a 19-yard gain. You need a few more plays like that. The only exception, Trey Turner didn't get out of bounds. You need your receivers to be able to step out of bounds. Miami will play wide defense, almost no defensive line. They're trying to cover the receivers, 2 on either side of the defensive line for the offensive line for the Virginia Tech Hokies. Hooker back to pass, under pressure. Silvera, he's going to throw it away. That wastes 6 seconds to get down to 10 seconds on the clock, and now you almost have 1 play to get out of bounds.
Well, first of all, it's an incredible job from Hendon Hooker to just get enough separation there from Jade Silvera to throw the ball away. 10 seconds left. Now you probably need to get a quick 5-10 yards out of bounds and make it a manageable Hail Mary attempt here if you're Virginia Tech.
Again, still about 20 yards to that field goal target line if Fuente and company still want to go that route. Hooker looking to his left side, under pressure. Almost intercepted, 5 seconds. That was around middle of the field at around the 33-yard line. I'm not sure what the strategy there was from Hooker since it was midfield.
Well, the strategy of the field there is it's going to be a first down, so if it's caught, you got enough time to run the line of scrimmage before the ball is spotted, spike the ball. Now 5 seconds left at midfield. Brian Johnson out of the equation. You've got 1 shot here to win the game, Tyler.
And this is likely the final play of the ball game. 5 seconds. Hooker's going to try to look for some magic. A Hail Mary was completed for the Hurricanes in this game last year to end the first half. The Hokies trying to do it again to end the second half. Hooker finds over, and it's going to be another lateral play. This one's going to be tossed all around the Virginia Tech Hokies. It's back to Hendon Hooker, who gets tackled inside Virginia Tech territory. He is down and injured, but the Miami Hurricanes are going to escape Lane Stadium with a narrow 1-point win.
A narrow win, and it looked like Virginia Tech had the lateral they wanted. They got the ball to Caleb Smith at midfield. Eventually, it was going to be a lateral back to Hooker behind the line of scrimmage, where he might have been able to throw the football again, but Miami defended it very well. What a game. And listen, Miami offensively, not at their best today, but they did enough, and their defense gave them a chance to win. What a game between two rivals. Last year it came down to the final play of the game. In 2020, it comes down to the final play of the game.
So a huge win for the Miami Hurricanes, 25-24. They escape an upset scare, including a fourth quarter shutout of the Virginia Tech Hokies. We'll see whether how far the Hurricanes rise in the polls. They're at 9 now, and with a win over Virginia Tech, they'll be sure to rise even farther. We'll be back with a post-game show and recap everything when we return on 3304 Sports.
And we welcome you back to 3304 Sports, our coverage of number 9 Miami knocking off Virginia Tech. A thriller today in Blacksburg, 25-24 the final score. Evan Hughes back with you alongside Tyler Katz, who had the call of the second half. Tyler, Virginia Tech doesn't score any points in the fourth quarter. Miami scoring 12 points in the second half. In the end, it was enough because the defense of the Hurricanes really stepped up and slowed down this explosive Virginia Tech offense.
Yeah, it was a low-scoring game from what we thought from the beginning. It's a 1-point win for Miami. They only scored 12 points in that second half, 13 points in the first half. So I think fans of both teams were really expecting a much higher scoring game. I think 25-24 was what a lot of people expected the halftime score to be, let alone the final score. But overall, a absolutely thrilling game between these two rival schools that comes down to another classic that people are going to talk about for the next 5 years.
In 2019, it came down to the final play of the game. Virginia Tech's defense batted down a pass to the end zone. Hokies hung on 42-35. Today, Miami's defense stands tall in a couple of laterals. Final play, Hurricanes win 25-24. All right, let's talk about D'Eriq King today. Last week, he's coming off a game in which he had over 500 combined yards and 5 touchdowns. Hokies struggled to contain Malik Willis of Liberty last week, a mobile quarterback. Today, they hold King to 15 yards on the ground, and then 255 yards through the air and a touchdown. Not the normal video game-like numbers from King, but he did what he needed to do today, and I thought it really showed his maturity at times in a very close game. Didn't panic when they went down early in this game.
No, and especially on the other side of the ball, you have to give credit to Hendon Hooker for Virginia Tech, 19 for 29 through the air, 202 yards passing, as well as on the ground, 59 yards, and we were talking about it before, Hooker did win the battle between the quarterbacks on the ground. It was King winning through the air. Of course, he had 9 more passing attempts than Hendon Hooker, but just a even quarterback battle. And really, when you take a look at the stat sheet, it looks like a 1-point game, and you look at the scoreboard, and that's exactly what shows.
Sometimes turnovers are the difference in this game. Virginia Tech got the ball left with just under 6 minutes to go, down by a point. They threw the ball in the first play. A big-time interception from Miami really turned the tide. And from there, Virginia Tech really just didn't get a chance down the stretch to really get any momentum going on offense. Again, the Hurricanes scoring 6 points in the fourth quarter. Hokies didn't score anything, and that was really the difference in the final 15 minutes of the game. Let's continue talking about Miami. D. Wiggins, what a day. 8 receptions, 106 yards for the junior from Miami, Florida. He had a career high 7 passes, 77 yards, and a touchdown last week against the Wolfpack, and he delivers again today.
Yeah, an absolutely huge game. He might not have gotten on the score sheet, but 8 receptions, 106 yards through the air, 255 passing yards for the Miami Hurricanes today. So a bulk of the passing yards. Michael Harley, the next in line with 51 receiving yards, A huge game for D. Wiggins, and he seemed to have come up when Miami needed him most.
No, they really did. And, Harley with a quiet day, 51 yards receiving. Mark Polk, just 4 receptions. Brevin Jordan came back from injury. He caught 2 passes early in the game, but he finishes with just 22 yards receiving. Rushing-wise for Miami, Cameron Harris, the leading rusher, with 14 carries, 63 yards, and a touchdown. Meanwhile, for Virginia Tech, Hendon Hooker was efficient throughout the day, 19 of 29, 202 yards, but down the stretch, Miami's defense got the better of Hendon Hooker, forced 1 turnover and almost a second turnover as well late in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, dropped interception by Miami's number 44, Bradley Jennings Jr., and he seemed to have had that, and he looked really frustrated with himself. Overall, that didn't seem to matter, as Miami did walk away with the win regardless. But for Virginia Tech fans, I think it's more so disappointment that you lose another game on the final possession in back-to-back weeks, both against top 25 teams.
All right, we mentioned how the defense stepped up for both teams. Let's start with Miami's defense. I think the story of the day, Jalen Phillips, 8 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks today. He was all over the field for the Hurricanes.
Absolutely monster day for Jalen Phillips. He had a career-high 10 tackles last week against NC State, and pretty much doing it again. It seems like Jalen Phillips is starting to break out for the Hurricanes. He had 8 tackles this week against the Hokies, but a career high last week against the Wolfpack, close to another career high, just 3 away today against the Hokies. He had 4.5 tackles for a loss and 2.5 sacks on Hendon Hooker. Absolutely dominant, and when you talk about the Miami defense against Virginia Tech, it's going to be Jalen Phillips, the first name that comes out of your mouth.
Gilbert Frierson had a big day today. He battled injury throughout the game. He had 2 sacks in the game, 8 total tackles. Remember, from Miami, we found out this morning that Zach McLeod, one of their starting linebackers, was going to be unable to play, and the linebacking core really stepped up. Speaking of linebackers, Virginia Tech defensively, they hold this prolific Miami offense to just 25 points. Dax Hollifield, his best game of the season, leads the team in tackles with 13, had a sack. Rayshard Ashby looks back to form, 11 tackles. Tyler, the linebacking core, has struggled all year for Tech, and finally it felt like Hollifield and Ashby really started to get it going today against the Canes.
Yeah, Hollifield was really the name that everybody was talking about for Virginia Tech's defense in this game. Rayshard Ashby was questionable to return in today's game. For the Hokies, they're thankfully did, coming up with 11 tackles on the day. But Dax Hollifield, a huge game in a season where his name hasn't really come up as much as it had seasons prior. Last week against Liberty, Hollifield, 6 tackles, 3 of which solo. This week he has 13 tackles, 4 of which were solo tackles. So it seems Hollifield may be coming in to his 2019 form in 2020, and we'll see how that affects the Virginia Tech defense heading into the upcoming weeks.
One other note I wanted to point out, Virginia Tech had 24 points in the first 36 minutes and 14 seconds of the game, 0 points in the final 23 minutes and 46 seconds. Defense, defense, defense. Offense wins games, defense wins championships. And speaking of which, Miami still in the hunt to get to the ACC championship game in December. Taking a look at the upcoming schedule for the Hurricanes. They host Georgia Tech on November 21st. Then they go to Wake Forest November 28th. And then a game against North Carolina on December 5th. You never know. That game could have a lot riding on it in terms of implications. But the Hurricanes are ranked 9th in the country, so they've got a shot to get to the ACC championship game. They need help. But they keep their college football playoff hopes alive as well with the win today, Tyler.
Yeah, a win's a win, no matter the margin, and especially against a unranked Virginia Tech team that, reminder that they were underdogs coming into this game at Lane Stadium as 2.5-point underdogs. They come out as the 1-point victors. They get another win under their belt, and as you mentioned, a few more high-profile games, including against North Carolina, and potentially, if things go their way up at the top of the standings, a spot at the ACC championship that could propel them into the college football playoff.
Meanwhile, for Virginia Tech, they go on the road for the final time in the regular season next week at Pittsburgh, and then they have games with Clemson and Virginia to finish their season as well, with a bye week in between. So, Miami with a chance to climb the rankings after a win like this today. They keep their ACC championship game hopes alive, and they keep their college football playoff hopes alive. The win for Miami, they improved to 7-1, 6-1 in ACC play. The Hokies fall to 500. They're 4-4 on the year, 4-3 in ACC play. Well, it was a fun one today. We're so glad you could join us on 3304 Sports. We'll hope you join us next week as Drew Roberson and Ryan Wilkes will have the call of Virginia Tech at Pittsburgh. Hope you can join us on Friday for 3304 kickoff that will preview the Panthers and the Hokies. For my broadcast partner, Tyler Katz, my name is Evan Hughes saying so long. Final score one final time. Number 9, Miami 25, Virginia Tech 24. Have a great day, and thanks so much for being with us.